I didn't even hear the...
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3,
That's odd.
2, 1.
Countdown started late.
Blog Talk Radio.
What time is it? What time is it?
Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorda, and I'm here with my co-host, Ringside Robert, and England's adopted son, Joe Habib. And we have a great show for you today. And if you want to call and ask some questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. And we'll be here for about an hour today, hour and a half. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what's up, man, because we were up late last night. Beeb, we're up late last night, man. We were up way late.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm not tired today. I actually feel pretty good. Usually after a night like that, I'm dead tired the next morning, but I feel pretty good.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad. I don't feel too bad today. I feel pretty good too.
Can I get the pie out of the way right now, real quick, just to get it out of the way?
Hold on one second. Here we go. Beeb, gonna get it out of the way right now. We got the camera on. Let's have it, Beeb.
Ready?
Do it. That was the weakest pie ever. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because the bottom line is I embarrassed you. I embarrassed you in front of all these people, and that's the way it goes. Say it. I'm the king. Say it. Say it.
Get the fuck out of here. You're never going to hear me say that.
Say it. Loser. Wipe it off.
Oh, yeah. That's horrible.
That's right.
That's horrible.
That's what you get. I'm the champ. That's right, son. Look at him. Look at him wiping that egg off his face.
It is a pie. Come on. It's a whipped cream pie.
We're going to have to set up an immediate title defense soon, man.
Listen, you think I want to waste food, get a gigantic apple pie or something? People starving out there.
Listen, Robert, before you go any further, number one, you've never taken a bet, so you don't tell the champ what to do. All right? That's number one.
No.
Yeah, so you sit there and you take what I do. You understand? You deal with it. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. And Buenos Dias to Suleiman out there, the smart one in the chat. All right, so let's get started. Fox pay-per-view last night. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, there was a big fight last night. Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia. Maybe you guys heard of it? One-sided fight, man. I tell you what, and we went over a lot of this last night, so we'll go over some different stuff today. It was a complete whitewash by Spence, and that, I think, shocked everybody. Nobody expected this. I mean, you know, when I saw that, when we were talking about this fight, I expected Mikey to maybe split some of the early rounds. Like maybe it's a 3-3 going into the 7th, you know, or something like that. I figured, you know, like I said, I picked Spence 9-3, 8-4, somewhere in there. And I said, well, you know, maybe I said it's probably going to be, you know, I said it's going to be cat and mouse in the early goings. Mikey's going to have a little bit of success, but then Spence is going to catch him with his power and everything like that. Not the case. Not the case at all. I mean, Spence looked great in this fight. At no point was Mikey even in this fight. I couldn't even find a round to give him. I mean, I couldn't even find a round.
Judges couldn't either.
Yeah. I mean, the final scores, 120-107 and 120-108 twice. One of the judges, I think, gave him a 10-8 round. I believe it was a 6, but I'm not 100% sure. Just completely, and Reese Mack said it the best, just completely outclassed.
Without question.
And that was the thing. And I was really, I mean, and people were saying, well, you know, I always love the day after a big fight, and I always love the Monday morning quarterbacks coming out. Because they always come out and just dump on the other fighter. The fighter that lost always gets dumped on. You know, especially if it's like a one-sided type of fight like this one was, they always dump on the other fighter. And, of course, you guys didn't disappoint. They did the same thing here. Everybody dumped on Mikey. They said, you know, and then, but surprise, everybody's dumping on Spence, too. Because now they're saying, well, Mikey jumped up 2 weight classes. Sean Newton, who I like, and we subscribe to his channel and stuff, you know, I kind of take issue with what he said last night. He said that it was it wasn't exactly a great performance by Spence. What are you talking about? What else? 120 to 107 without a knockdown. 120 to 108 twice. What more does he need to do? I mean, honestly, and he was like, well, he needs to make a statement like Teofimo did. Who's Teofimo fighting? Who is he fighting? It's not like that guy is exactly, hitting murderers row. It's not like he's fighting bums, but he's fighting good fighters, but he's not fighting Mikey Garcia. Listen, man, I mean, as you go up the ladder, you can have a string of knockouts, but as you go up that ladder, you're going to get challenged, and I don't understand anybody who says this was not a good performance by Spence. Anybody who says this wasn't a great night for him, or he dominated Mikey Garcia, or Mikey Garcia was just he was coming up 2 weight classes. So, well, you know what? Shane Mosley came up 2 weight classes. A lot of people came up 2 weight classes and won. He dominated a 4-time champion in his prime. Guys, stop it. Listen, you can love or hate Spence, whatever, but you can't take that away from him. Now, is he a pound-for-pound guy? I think he's in the conversation. I don't know how anybody... if you got a pound-for-pound list and you don't have Canelo at the top or, 2, you have to question your pound-for-pound list, because I don't know how you unseat that guy right now. But
we are...
That being said, go ahead, Beeb.
No, finish. I don't want to interrupt you. I apologize. Go finish your statement. I'm sorry. I'll wait.
That being said, Spence has got to be in the conversation now at least. But you can't say that wasn't a pound-for-pound type of performance. This guy will be able to take advantage of it when, Mikey was supposed to take advantage of it. He was supposed to take advantage of, Spence's shortcomings on defense. He was supposed to, this guy will be able to take advantage of it when, where Mikey wasn't able to get in range. Well, you know what that's called? That's called boxing. That's called using your tools. Everybody, it's always, when you have these games and you have people that you can tell right away when they don't like a fighter, because they never give him real credit. He beat a 4-time. What did you think? He was going to, I thought he was going to stop Mikey. When I saw Mikey at the weigh-in, I thought maybe he was going to stop Mikey late. I picked him by decision, 9-3. That being said, I thought it was great. I thought he did a great job. And Beeb, you can attest to this too. You know yourself, when you're getting touched up, if you cover up and go into a defensive shell, you're not going to get hit. You're not going to get knocked out. And that was the case last night. And if you don't believe me, if you think Mikey Garcia was not in a defensive posture last night, hey, listen, don't look any further than the numbers. He landed 75 punches over 12 rounds. Let that sink in for a minute. 75 punches over 12 rounds. This was a whitewash, guys. A 4-division world champion was whitewashed last night. And that wasn't like a star-making performance? What? And he's going to go, and hopefully he's going to fight Pacquiao next. And Pacquiao, I got to be honest, man, when Pacquiao got in that ring, he didn't look too interested.
No.
He didn't look interested at all. He looked more enthusiastic prior to the fight than after the fight. And, why doesn't he, he's fighting a smaller guy. Great. All right. Well, he did, that's no fault of his own. It's not. Because he challenged Sean Porter, the big guy. Sean Porter says, I'm good. I don't want to be in Dallas Stadium. I'm good. I don't want this work right now. I'm good. And then Sean Porter speaks up because he knows the Pacquiao fight's more likely to get made than his fight. Okay? So last night, Sean Porter's like, oh, well, I'll fight you next. I'll fight you. Well, he's already got a date next. It's looking that way anyway. Now, whether he does or would, either way, he's going to fight another big name next. And I think he runs over Sean Porter. And I think he runs over Pacquiao. And I think he runs over everybody not named Terrence Crawford. It just is. This guy is that good. And you don't have to agree with it, but you can't dump on his performance last night. You can't say, Now, people out there comparing him to Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard, you need to pump the brakes a little bit because, again, come on. It's, one big win on his resume, not 50. So you have to pump the brakes on that. But to not call this guy a star, not to say he's a star in the making. I mean, this guy is headed for big time. And Robert, you know as well as I do, who's been saying it since the Olympics?
Well, we both have, Eric.
We have. I have. I'm the champ.
Rob, the answer was supposed to be you, Eric.
That's right. Thank you, Beeb.
Don't keep throwing yourself into everything.
Yeah.
Stop being a narcissist. Come on.
Beeb knows. See, Beeb gets it, Robert.
Stop being a narcissist.
I'm going to mute Robert now for the rest of the show because he doesn't get it.
Oh, my goodness.
He doesn't get what the champ brings to the table.
Come on.
Beeb, give me some thoughts on that last night.
Okay, so we knew this was a no-win situation for Errol Spence, or at least I believed it, and a lot of people agreed with me because the narrative was, I thought, if he didn't stop Garcia, he was going to get dunked on. And I expected this. I thoroughly expected this. But here's the thing. If you go back and you listen to the post-fight press conference that took place last night, Spence was really, really irritated at the fact that no one was really giving him credit for his boxing skills. And everyone said if this fight goes the distance, then, Mikey's going to win a decision. Everyone said that Mikey was the more intelligent fighter. Everyone said that Mikey was the better boxer, that Mikey had the best skills. And basically the only attribute that they thought that Spence was going to be able to use in there against Mikey was his size, his strength, and his power. So I think Spence went into this fight with the mentality of making a concerted effort to show everybody that, hey, I'm not just this guy. And he even said it, quote unquote, I'm not just this brute. I'm not just this brute in there that goes in and tries to, walk guys down and destroy them. I have skills too. So he went into this fight making a concerted effort to show people, hey, I can actually outbox this guy. I don't have to outbully this guy. I don't have to outmuscle this guy. I don't have to walk this guy down and overpower this guy. This isn't about me only just imposing my will on this guy. This is me out-thinking and out-skilling this guy. So if you're on the outside looking in as an opponent right now, and in your own mind frame as an opponent, you're saying, well, all this guy is going to do is try to pressure me and try to overpower me and try to get inside and try to make this a war of attrition, but I have the skill to overcome all that. So now you've got to do a double take and think, well, this guy showed me another wrinkle last night that he could actually outbox a guy that supposedly was thought to have had better boxing skills than him. So now these guys, this was better, in my opinion. This was much better than a mid-round to late stoppage, because now these guys who originally didn't want to get in the ring with him, now they have something else to worry about. Now Keith Thurman can say, well, this guy isn't just going to come and try and take my head off. This guy has the ability to box me if I decide to lay back and pot shot. He's got an outside game. He could throw that jab, throw some off-speed jabs on me, switch up the rhythm and the timing of some of those punches from the outside. And I'm going to have problems. That's something else I'm going to have to deal with. I'm going to have problems dealing with that as well. So I think this was one of the best scenarios that could have possibly taken place, because whoever would have thought at the end of this fight that all three judges would have him pitching a shutout. A shutout. It's much harder. It's much harder to win every single round in a fight than to get a knockout over a smaller guy. So this was the most unlikely of scenarios that took place, in my opinion, and I think a lot of other people's opinions too, because nobody said that this was going to be a blowout in terms of Spence outclassing him through boxing ability. People thought that this was going to be Spence overpowering him and landing bigger shots, and because of the bigger shots landing on Mikey, that was going to offset his offense. What offset Mikey's offense was that educated jab of Errol Spence that was so unpredictable and it was so thrown in such a multitude of various ways through changing up rhythm, moving it around, changing angles from the outside by making little steps himself. Look, and if you want to talk about educated foot movement, Spence was a master at that, because he was the guy who was making those little subtle steps to the side, here and there to create perfect punching angles for himself. And when have we ever seen Spence in a fight where he's not getting touched up at all? Like I've never seen Spence have such a tight defense and such a great defense as he showed last night. And then you can sit there and say, well, look who he was in there with. But he was in there with arguably one of the most precise punchers in the game. And you got a guy that's shooting guided missiles out there who knows how to thread the needle and knows how to create openings for himself and who is so accurate and so great at timing, and he couldn't even touch Errol Spence. Whereas in other fights we've seen, even with Lamont Peterson, we've seen Lamont Peterson actually touch Errol Spence before Errol Spence overpowered him. Like, we've seen other guys touch Errol Spence, but Garcia couldn't even touch him. So kudos to Errol Spence, and I think this just shows you how good he really is, and he added another wrinkle, and this is something else all those guys have to worry about. And a guy like Manny Pacquiao, who takes more risks in there and throws a lot more punches, and he's actually short and has a short reach, just like Mikey Garcia. I can't help but think that he's going to leap in there and he's going to jump right into the fire with Errol Spence, and he's going to put himself in harm's way, and he's going to get taken out, man, because he doesn't have the defense of Mikey Garcia. He doesn't.
No, and you hit the nail on the head, is that Pacquiao is going to create more chances. He's going to take more risks, and his defense is not Mikey Garcia for sure. Is it a better fight than Mikey Garcia? No, I don't think so.
More action-packed, though. More action-packed.
Well, I mean, we thought that about this one. I don't know. Again, man, I don't know. But I don't think Pacquiao sees the final bell in that one. I think he gets knocked out or stopped. That's a one-sided fight. I mean, a complete one-sided fight. Robert, what were your thoughts on last night?
I think he put on a masterclass performance, and I have a feeling that fighters, including Manny Pacquiao, are going to find excuses not to get in the ring with him. Because if you looked at the look of Manny Pacquiao's face when he got in the ring after the fight last night, he didn't want to be there. And the thought of him being across the ring from Errol Spence, I can already see running through his head, I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. I think we might see a Sean Porter wind up getting the next fight, because Pacquiao's going to find another fight. He's probably going to wind up fighting Thurman. And so I think we're going to see Sean Porter take his beat down, and then I think the winner of Pacquiao and Thurman will be the next in line to deal with Spence. I think eventually Errol Spence is going to run through everybody, at least on the PBC side of things, and then we're going to have to figure out how to get Terrence Crawford and Bob Arum on the negotiating side to work out a fight. This is where the political aspect of boxing gets in the way, because I think you saw last night the most dominant welterweight that we've seen in quite some time, and I don't see anybody, except for the possible exception of Terrence Crawford, that could even give this guy a fight. Well, and go ahead, Beeb.
I'm saying, because I'm looking at the chat right now, and I'm really scratching.
Yeah, a lot of
I'm really scratching my head, because I now all of a sudden Spence is a cherry picker. So let me ask you guys this question.
Right.
Let me ask you guys this question: is Crawford a cherry picker because he's fighting a guy in Amir Khan who's definitely past his prime, hasn't looked great at all? So when Crawford goes in there and he destroys Amir Khan, are we going to criticize Crawford for cherry picking too?
Right.
Well, and let me ask you this, not to cut you off, Eric. I apologize. Let me ask you this: is Crawford going to be doing it in front of 48,000 people or 47,000 people like Errol Spence is? So if the fight is such trash and no one cared about it, then why did 47,000 people show up to it? Number one, and number two, I don't think Pacquiao is going to end up fighting Errol Spence next. I think that what I did see was I was watching some videos this morning, and Sam Watson was talking to some people from the media, and they asked him about that fight, and he said it probably won't happen. You'll see Pacquiao probably end up fighting Thurman, and Spence will end up fighting probably somebody else. So I think from a PBC marketing standpoint, they could get more mileage out of Manny Pacquiao if they avoid fighting Errol Spence and they put him in there with someone like a Keith Thurman, who probably won't put Manny Pacquiao in a situation where he could end his career. Like that's a career-threatening fight for Manny Pacquiao getting in there with Errol Spence. Whereas if he gets in there with the Keith Thurman at this point, I think he beats Keith Thurman, and if you can argue that Thurman beats him. But one thing we could probably agree upon is Thurman won't damage Manny Pacquiao to the point where his career could be over, and he could damage him in the afterlife of boxing as well. So there could be some residual damage. Errol Spence has that ability. We saw what he did to Kell Brook. He has that ability to take years off your career. And guys that have fought Errol Spence aren't the same as they were going in when they leave that ring. So at the end of the day, the double standards are going to continue to be there. I just want to see people criticize Crawford for his opponent selection, just like they're criticizing Errol Spence.
I tell you what, you bring up a good point. And the thing is that, to call this a cherry pick, it's a 4-division champ in his prime. Whether he was moving up before he was daring to be great, today he's a cherry pick. I don't get that. I don't get that logic. I don't call it a cherry pick. And I'll be honest with you, I don't call Amir Khan a cherry pick either. It's not like Amir Khan sucks. He's a good fighter. I don't call that a cherry pick either.
I don't hate the fight.
No, I know you don't. I know you don't. But some people out there will say that, what is it, Crawford is a cherry picker. Well, what does he got, seven or eight champions on his resume?
Exactly. Let me ask you this. On paper, was the Garcia fight a tougher and better fight than the Crawford-Amir Khan fight on paper?
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. Yeah, I mean,
okay, then.
Division champ.
So we can't Monday morning quarterback it, and this was definitely a no win for Spence, because if you blew him out of there, you beat up a smaller guy, you weight bullied him. Yeah. If he didn't look great, Spence is overrated. He's not as good as we thought he was. If he goes a decision with him, Spence put on an underwhelming performance. So there was no way, no matter what Spence did in this fight, he was going to get any credit from the haters.
Right.
Because there was just too many things that they could pick at after this fight. So that was evident. That was always going to be there. But I just hope these same people have that same energy after Crawford destroys Khan. That's all I want to know.
Punch quote in the chat, you're being silly, and you're more than welcome to call in, and we can talk about it, but you're just being silly in the chat. And I love when they're silly in the chat and they don't want to call in. That's my favorite. They can go ahead and say whatever they want behind the keyboard, but
because they can hide.
Right. I mean, call in and let's have a debate about it. But you're just spouting off nonsense.
Just like guys like Sean Newton who make videos and do 50 takes. But we go live. I go live. All my videos are live, and I have people that can interact with me in the chat and call me out on when I'm talking. You can't. He puts himself in a situation where he could hide in his little friggin' Asian hut in friggin' Taiwan over there with his 1976 friggin' webcam and his 5 o'clock shadow, looking like he just rolled out of bed on a friggin', looking like a friggin' hobo there, like a homeless person rolling out of bed, and. We're here live. We have a live chat here where people can respond to us. Get your teeth. Go get your teeth fixed, Sean Newton, Snaggletooth.
I'll stop it. That's a personal attack. Stop it.
I'm going back at him.
What's the matter with you?
I said I wasn't going to stoop down to his level, but guess what? I fucking lied. I fucking lied. I fucking lied. Oh, sorry. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't even see that. Put the earmuffs on. Put the earmuffs on. I apologize.
What's the matter with you?
I'm so sorry.
Jesus.
I'm embarrassed right now. I'm sorry.
This is why, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is why you are the unlikable co-host. That's why you are on the unlikable co-host. What's the matter with you?
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I'll play the devil for the sake of carrying out the truth.
Well, I think the truth did his job last night, and I think that's all that has to be said.
That's right. Serrano in the chat just said it's Sunday, Beeb. Went to church this morning.
Sorry. Well, hey, it's also St. Patrick's Day, so.
And it's Lent. What's the matter with you?
I know. I wasn't even looking at my monitor. I'm sorry.
What's the matter with you?
I apologize.
You okay, sweetie?
You okay? I'm so sorry.
You okay, honey?
You think you can still pull together the train wreck of the week for us after that?
Give us the train wreck of the week. Let's take our minds off this ugliness.
Chugga, choo choo.
Oh my God! I tell you, those voice lessons are really paying off. They are really paying. Why don't you take my prized possession back upstairs, sweetie, and put it on the mantle where it belongs? Oh, where it's going to stay. How about that?
The chalk. The chalk.
The chalk. No, you mean the champ.
Never saw a 4-1 favorite he didn't like.
Jake Cleary says the girl's heard worse. Yeah, she probably has.
I wasn't even looking at because I had my monitor over to the right of me, and I didn't even see her there. I wasn't even looking at my monitor. I never would have done that.
It's fine, man. It's fine. Train wreck of the week this week, I think, was the pay-per-view last night. I tell you what, man, this was a really bad pay-per-view from start to finish. You know, what kills me is that it was 30 minutes between every fight. Roughly 30 minutes between every fight. And the thing is, it's like, we don't want to wait that long. And, you know, you've already, you know, and they kept hyping up the main event throughout. They kept hyping things up, going over, you know, Errol Spence's training regimen and Mikey Garcia and just replaying everything we've seen. Guys, it's already sold. We don't need to sell it anymore.
Yeah.
Don't sell what's already sold. We've already seen it. It's done. We don't need it anymore. We've bought it. We want to see it now. I don't want to see more fluff. Some of the announce team, I didn't mind the ringside announce team. I really didn't mind Lennox Lewis or I like Joe Goosen and whoever the Albert kid was.
Kenny Albert.
Whoever. You know, he was okay. They were all passable. But Heidi Androl, you know, listen, I'm just going to say, you know, why she was hired, all right? Because it wasn't for her question asking. Because let me tell you why. I mean, she asked the same question to everybody. If she could work in Dallas Stadium or Cowboys or Jerry Jones, she did. I mean, this was – how does it feel to be at Dallas Stadium where the Cowboys play?
She was a walking brochure for Dallas Stadium, right?
What on earth? It's like, dude, come on. We know where they're at. You know? I mean, like, I don't get it, man.
The guy that parked her car when she went to the stadium, the valet guy, how does it feel to be at Dallas Stadium? Well, I've been here all my life. I worked there for 20 years. Oh, okay. I just thought I'd ask you that question. Like, she asked it to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, it was just nuts, and all the fluff that led into it. It's like, man, come on. Now, once the fight started, I will tell you this: the entrances were pretty awesome. I thought the entrances were pretty awesome. I thought Mikey's entrance was very, very cool. When he came out there to the mariachis and stuff. But then, did you guys notice as he's walking to the ring, they had the robes on the sides that said, like, Julio Cesar Chavez, and then one said Juan Manuel Marquez, and then the other one said Mikey Garcia. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was really, really cool. So, yeah, man, I thought the entrances were awesome. You know, the fight, you can't really knock the fight because we all bought it and we all thought it was going to be competitive. And when it wasn't, we can't really knock that. So I don't really count that. But the actual pay-per-view show as a whole, I thought was bad. You know,
well,
every fight was a mismatch.
You could tell, Eric, that this was their first attempt at a major pay-per-view. And Fox has a lot of work to do to improve their production and performance and timing of things. And I'm scared at what we're going to experience April 20th when ESPN does it for the first time.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll learn from it, and hopefully. But you know, like I said last night, PBC is really good at timing. You know, when you're at their events, it's boom, 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 boom. You know, I mean, like I said, you sit down at 5:30, you don't leave till 1:30 in the morning, and there's action all the way through. There is no intermissions. You might have a 15-minute intermission when they're getting ready for TV. That's it. Their timing is amazing. I mean, their shows go off like clockwork. I don't know what happened last night. I have no idea what happened.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
If we're all clueless and we're this and they're that and we're rude, we're ignorant.
What are you speaking about? What are you speaking about?
In the chat, then why are you wasting your time coming here if you're so unhappy with what we're doing? Go to the other channels.
Oh, why are you giving it? Yeah, I mean,
if you don't like, do we get loud? Yeah. Do we swear? Yeah. But there's a lot of substantive information on this show. Like, we do have great debate on this show. It's not like we come on here and we're like Andrew Dice Clay, and we're just like we're just putting on like an act for you guys, and we're just vulgar and we're this and that. Do we have emotion? We're all different. Do I yell sometimes? Absolutely, because I'm not in church. I didn't know. I'm not in church, and I'm not in the library. I didn't know that I didn't have freedom of speech here. So if you don't like what we're doing and you want to ride Sean Newton's nuts, then go ride his nuts. That's fine. Go ride Sean Newton's nuts. That's fine. You don't have to be here if you don't want to be here. But apparently you're here for a reason. So
right. Well,
it is what it is.
Yeah, Sonya's in the chat. Given Quality's in the chat. Who's the other guy? The one with like 50 different names. Punch Quote, formerly Triple H 1200.
And you want to like make fun of how many people are in the chat. Well, at least we have a chat. Does Sean Newton have a chat? Because he doesn't have the balls to have a chat because he doesn't want to be called out on his bullshit.
Well, in all fairness, though, Sean Newton's not here. Why are we talking about Sean Newton? I mean, we talked about some of his points earlier, but I mean, he's not in the chat. I mean, he's not.
Well, these guys want to ride his nuts in the chat, so I'm calling them out for it. That's all.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys want to ride Sean Newton's nuts.
I don't understand. Like, I really don't get just being hateful in the chat, but not willing to call in and say, "Hey, I disagree with you guys." I don't get that.
Well, they want to sit behind their keyboard. They don't want to call and defend themselves on the air. Is what it is.
And then every time you say something that Sean Newton doesn't agree with, instead of trying to debate you logically, all he does is say that you're biased and you're a hater. So I find this so funny when someone calls you biased, but they're on the other side. So when they're biased to their side, it's okay. Everyone's biased to their own opinion. Like, if you believe something, you believe something. I've called it both ways. I've defended Crawford, who is not a PBC fighter, several times. I've made videos defending Crawford signing his ESPN deal. You know what I'm saying? I've made videos defending top-ranked fighters, and so I call it both ways. I challenge you to go on Sean Newton's page and find one video where he says something good about a PBC fighter. You can't find it. So he's clearly more biased than we are, or at least than I am. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You don't like what we're doing, then you have every option to not be here. Do I want you to be here? I do. But I don't want you to punish yourself if you're here and you hate us.
Yeah, don't get in a bad mood about it.
Don't be a masochist and punish yourself watching something that you hate.
Right.
Or if you're just here to troll, then, I mean, there's many other channels you can go out there and troll. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time here.
Yeah, don't be unhappy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't come here and like be unhappy about it.
Take your negative energy somewhere else. Don't try to bring the show down.
Yeah. I mean, why would you want to be somewhere where you're unhappy? You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. And for the record, like I said, man, I listen to Sean Newton. I've been listening to his videos lately. I mean, we subscribe to him and everything like that. I agree with a lot of his points. I really do. I agree with a lot of his points. I know him and B butt heads, but I do agree with a lot of his points. And he never yells. He's always pretty level-headed and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't mind him.
When someone tells you, oh well, Beeb is just the type of guy that I like to disagree with. that tells you right there that there's an agenda. I don't go out of my way, and I don't enjoy disagreeing with people just for the sake of disagreeing with people. If someone just wants to be a contrarian to everything you say, I could tell him the sky is blue. He'll tell me no, it's freaking aqua. Then you're never gonna see eye to eye with somebody like that. He goes out of his way to be a contrarian to whatever I say. So there's nothing I can do about that.
Nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. All right, let's go to the phones real quick. Area code 718. Robert, is this New York?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's Suleiman.
Suleiman, you're live.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, fellas, man?
Suleiman.
We're doing good, man.
So yeah, man. That fight yesterday was pretty good, man. At the beginning of the fight, I saw the whole fight from beginning to end, man. This guy, I got several opinions from guys watching the fight. You know, all over. I got a friend from Africa. He watched the fight. He's a big Errol Spence fan. And I was like neutral because I like both fighters. And he was telling me, look, watch, Errol Spence is gonna watch his power, test his power first, and after the power, he knows he's gonna gauge his power. Then he's gonna acclimate and work him. And it's exactly what he did. Errol Spence, what he does, he tests your power. Like at the beginning of the fight, I think one of the second round, the first or the second round, Mikey threw like a ferocious left hook, but missed him. And then in the second round, at the end of the second, he tagged him with the left. I think he was just gauging the timing of Mikey's rushes. And then after that, it was a wrap. He started catching him with that southpaw, and Mikey couldn't adjust. And then Mikey was even saying it. Mikey was applauding Errol. He was very how you call eloquent in his loss. He complimented Errol a lot, and he said, "Look, I couldn't adjust to his southpaw jab. He was big, and I couldn't time him. He couldn't time Errol Spence. Errol Spence showed people that he not only is he the top tier fighter, but he's knowledgeable. It was like a chess match at the beginning, and he just checkmated the crap out of Mikey. And Mikey had no choice because of the superior foot movement to just to go on the defensive. Mikey was the type of dude, like when he fought Robert Easter Jr. He was able to catch Robert Easter and make him a one-handed fighter. And I thought he was going to do the same thing to Errol. He couldn't do that. He couldn't do that at all. I think the size wasn't a big factor at the beginning, but after a while, the accumulation of jabs, and hey, that jab is heavy, man. And when he noticed that jab, he went on his defensive shell, and he said, "Look, I'm going to go the distance. I want to show my durability. I want to conserve myself for more future fights." And I think Mikey should stay in that division. Mikey should stay in that division. There's other champions there. There's other contenders. Maybe he could do some adjustments for a rematch. Maybe Errol could get a little ring wear and tear in the future. And he's too young enough to be a 5-division champ. I really like that fight. That was a real good fight. It was knowledgeable also. And then also in the other fight last week when Sean Porter is a real good fighter, man. People just gotta start hating on him. And that fight, Sean Porter showed that he could box, man. He could box. With Ugas wasn't. Everybody was on Ugas bandwagon. Ugas wasn't catching him with nothing. The thing is, maybe they was upset because he didn't want to make the weight, and because he took that fight of Ugas, but Ugas wasn't landing anything, man. I mean, I think Sean Porter, he got to bite his tongue now. Wait for Errol Spence to make a decision. But if they agree to make that fight, I think that fight is going to be very competitive. It's going to be another chess match. I think Sean Porter could make adjustments from this fight. People are going to be watching this fight, and they're going to notice that Errol Spence, he tests your power, and once he wants to gauge your power, and then after that he implements the game plan to win. What do you guys think about that?
Good take. I mean, it's a good.
Hello?
It's a good breakdown. I could see that, but I don't know. I still thought Sean Porter lost that fight, in my opinion, though. I mean, he did try to box, but I don't think he was. I don't think he was really successful at it.
I wanted to call. Excuse me. I don't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to call, but I couldn't make it. I had to rest.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand. How could you guys think Ugas won the fight? Ugas wasn't scoring no jabs, man. There was rounds that he wasn't scoring no punches. He was just posing in there. He was just posing. He wasn't scoring a punch. How could you? Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
How could a person win around like that?
the judges agreed with you, so I mean, I can see your argument because not everyone. It was one of those types of fights where it depends on what you think, who you thought was more successful with their game plan. There was two ways of looking at it. You could look at it the way you're looking at it, and then you can also say, well, what did Sean Porter do? How many punches did he land?
Yeah, but Sean Porter.
What about the
Sean
body
Porter
punches?
defensive skills.
What about the body punches that Ugas landed?
Sean Porter was doing a lot of bobbing and weaving. I think this fight, if Sean Porter fights Errol and he uses that defensive skill, it's going to be an exciting fight. Even if he loses, it's going to be mad exciting because he got the defensive. I like his bobbing and weaving. He was doing like a little mini Tyson style when he fought Ugas. That fight is going to be a great match. It might not be. He might not make it like. He might not get knocked out. He might get stopped, but it's gonna be exciting as long as it lasts, man. A lot of people, not for nothing, a lot of people like Sean Porter. They call him Sugar Sean Porter down by here in New York. A lot of people like him. I would like to see Sean Porter and Errol Spence, knuckle up, man. And Chris Aviola fought good. I think he's gonna be compatible in that division still because there's a lot of pretenders in the heavyweight division. He just passed one yesterday. And Charles Martin's still there. He won by disqualification. I don't know. Maybe I think Chris Aviola could put him away if they match him. And the other fight was pretty good too. The other fight that was there. And Gabe Rosado, man, he almost pulled an upset too on Friday. So you guys have a great day, man. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in your show, man. Big shout out to Errol Spence for showing us the two.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much, Suleiman. Good stuff.
Good call.
Is it 412? I wonder if this is given quality.
That's Pittsburgh.
That's Pittsburgh. I wonder if this is given quality. 412, you're live. Or maybe not. 412. Ah, come on.
Next.
I thought it was given quality. Maybe it was him and he just got cold feet. I don't know. He's bashing me in the chat though. I told him to call in. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right, let's go back to the phones.
From this day, you'll be my new fool.
Where's his pie?
Hello, Georgie.
He's coming with it. Don't you
Where's
worry.
his
You
pie?
let me deal with that.
Where's his pie?
You let me deal with it.
What's happening, people?
Georgie.
Hey, yo. Shout out to Sean Newton.
How about shout out to the new champ, Daddy?
Shout out to the pie in your face.
Shout out to Sean Newton, the new member of the Ringside Reporter.
He's an absentee member. That's right.
He's an absentee member. Tell him to stop hiding.
Yo, I heard he's gonna replace Beeves as a host. Be retired. What was the rumors about that?
We're gonna schedule a boxing match. We're gonna schedule a boxing match with Beeb and Sean Newton in Taiwan. So, yeah, I'd go to Taiwan for that.
Oh, overseas?
That's right.
He's going overseas to defend the belt.
That's it.
Jesus Christ, man. Man, listen, shout out to everybody who got a different opinion. Everybody's welcome over here. You ain't getting time out on the chat. We ain't blocking you. Express yourself, buddy, because here we disagree, but we don't time people out like that. So everybody's welcome. Shout out to the chat, everybody. Slapnuts, Andre Chiaini, Ignacio Ortiz, Rizzi Mack, Emmanuel Morero, Africa Bamblaca. Everybody on the chatties. Yo, support, thumbs up. Now let's get to the Spencer situation. Yo gotta stop it, bro. Spence didn't put no goddamn flag and no moon. You people want to see like this man did something that nobody was expecting. The 90% of the people who knows anything about boxing said that Mikey will get kicked the fuck out. Yes or no?
Most people picked him to get knocked out, correct, but he didn't get knocked out.
Yep, that's right. I did.
Yeah.
So on the most expert view, Spence underperformed.
No, he didn't. He won every round.
He dominated every round.
He dominated.
Back to the premises of the question again. And 90% of people's eyes, of anybody, the experts of boxing, not casual, the so-called expert, the upper Chilean, the people who know shit about boxing. Mike is supposed to be unconscious.
No, a lot of people pick Spence by decision, so I don't know.
A lot of people pick Mikey too.
A lot of people pick Mikey too. So.
Listen, we can rewind tapes on
I want to see your sources. I want to see your sources. I think you're making it up.
Maybe I'm leaking 20,000 as soon as the video is done. As soon as the video is done, on the comment section, I'm gonna leak 20,000 fucking links of experts saying that Mikey supposed to go to sleep. That was the lyrics.
I think that's fake news.
The pogo.
I think that's fake news.
Let's not change it now after the fact.
Now you're acting like Jason.
Mikey's supposed to get laid the fuck out.
Now you're acting like Jason.
That's what it's supposed to happen.
That's fake news.
Can I get my call? Please. B, please.
Fake news.
Listen. Go ahead, B. Go ahead.
No, I'll let you burn.
No, I'm saying, but if that was the lyrics, that's what is supposed to happen. Therefore, there cannot be no other answer that Spencer underperformed. There cannot be any other answer.
All right, so.
No, George, he dominated the entire fight. I don't know what you're talking about.
Saying that he didn't dominate.
So every time
the premise is, Eric, help me out here, B.
Listen, I'm going to help Georgie out here. I'm going to help Georgie out because what Georgie is suffering from is like PTSD because he lost, and he lost badly. And the thing is, when you lose like that, because Georgie had the title for just a small amount of time, and when you lose it like that, the way he did, and in a dominating, embarrassing fashion, you wake up the next morning and you're kind of in disbelief. You don't know what's going on. This is what's coming out of Georgie right now, so I'm asking you guys to really just kind of take it easy on him.
Yeah.
He's used to losing. He's not used to that success.
I take so many L's. I take so many pies that don't even mean anything. Doesn't even mean anything. But the fundamental situation in him is how good was Spencer's performance.
It was great.
Against a guy who was 2 divisions smaller.
I thought it was great.
How good was it? It was great. It was what we expected to happen.
He's a 4-division champion.
I just don't see it. We're not gonna. I guess we're not gonna agree, but I don't see this man putting no flag in the moon. Do you guys want to see it like he did such a fucking great thing? I think he did what everybody thought he would do.
No, I agree with you. Is he the next
Floyd
Mayweather?
Accolades.
You know, he's got a lot more fights to go. He's got a lot more. But this was really, the Kell Brook one, the Kell Brook win. This win, those were these are 2 solid wins. These are 2 really good wins against high-level, top-name opponents.
Baby, that's the only 2 wins he got. That's the only 2 wins he got.
And I tell you what, it would have been Sean Porter last night. It would have been Sean Porter last night, but Sean Porter ducked him. Sean Porter did not want that fight, and that's the fact.
Doesn't matter.
Let me get into that Sean Porter real quick before I get cut up, bro. Let me get on Sean Porter, bro. Because this is a fundamental motherfucking problem with humanity. This is when I go, I don't feel proud of this motherfucking human race, man. Sean Porter prays. This man goes there with his dad in the middle of the fucking ring, on the corner, whatever the fuck he does it, on national TV, and pray. He prays to Jesus, he prays to God, and he's supposed to be a religious man, a good dude. And this is the hypocrisy that I fucking hate. You guys got robbed, badly robbed, and here we got this so-called Christian talking about how they outboxed the man and how they won. But they're supposed to be Christians. This is the most, 90% of people on this fucking planet that say they're religious or Christian or not, full of fucking shit. You had your chance to show how really Christian you are and you stand up for what is right. And what the fuck the Porters do? They side with the reptilians in their bullshit robbery. I will never support Sean Porter in my fucking life. Fuck Sean Porter.
Wow, he's triggered, man. He's triggered. He's triggered. He really.
Sunday.
Wow, he really does have that post-traumatic stress. Wow, he really can't take this loss.
Baby, but this is the problem. When you got the opportunity to do right and do justice, do it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how much of a Christian you are.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that shit. I want to see the action. I don't want to hear no bullshit praying. I want to see you do good and stand up for what you really say you believe on. Fucking hypocrites.
Wow.
Think of that shit.
It's getting deep on us,
moving along. Maybe I'm right. I'm sorry, but I'm right. Fuck Porter.
Sounds like Sean Newton.
And the WBC Mafia and the rest of the cocksuckers.
Sounds like Sean Newton.
Stop it. What's the matter?
Sean Newton, call in. Gotta go one-on-one with Biff.
He's in Taiwan, man.
I challenged Sean Newton a long time ago to a private. He didn't took it.
He should have took it.
But he want to come here and challenge for the title. I'm stepping up against Sean. Sean, you got to fight here anytime you want it, but I got to pay one on Sunday. So after Sunday, we're going to fight. Anyways, I got to go. Shout out to everybody in the UK and the USA. Shout out to the real Christians out there who put in the work on the street for your fellow human beings. Shout out to you. And I'm outie.
That might have been the most bizarre call.
What the fuck was that?
What was he talking about? Real Christians? I don't get it.
I don't know. On St. Patrick's Day of all days. Wow.
What is this?
Real Christians.
What is this? What is this all of a sudden? The Trinity Network now? What's this? The friggin' 700 Club?
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my.
You just shook up the world. And I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
209, you're live.
Hello, Paul.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Robbie? How you doing, Eric? What's up, Beeb?
What's happening, man?
Paul, bring some sanity to this show, please.
I'm going to do my best over here, man, but I didn't take my lithium this morning, so we'll see what I can do.
Oh, no, here we go. All right.
So, first of all, I'd like to disagree with Robbie and Eric on the card last night. I think you guys are just way too impatient to see the fights. I was talking to someone else on there. He's from Britain, and he was saying the same thing I was. The production yesterday, I can understand not wanting all the interviews in between the fights, but it was real obvious that they were using that event. I'm not excusing it necessarily, but this is obviously for a larger audience, and they were trying to introduce a lot of the fighters that are under the Fox PBC banner last night. So they were taking advantage of the viewership to, sell the Charlo, sell Wilder, sell Pacquiao. Excuse me, let me catch my breath here. Sorry. And then as far as the actual production value, I felt like it was like edited. It was so smooth the way everything ran. And especially the in the ring camera work, I thought from top to bottom, I thought it was incredible, honestly. So I had a different experience than you guys. So,
no, but Paul, come on, you didn't have to do 30 minutes between every fight. I mean, come on, things could have been moved a lot faster.
But that's what I'm trying to say. But that's what I'm trying to say, Robbie. Again, you're looking at it from your perspective, and I'm saying, like, I would have preferred less time between the fights. I didn't need to hear all that. But what I'm saying is it wasn't just for us that are already familiar with a lot of these fighters. They're trying to sell them now and in the future. So I understood it. And honestly, I loved the Wilder interview. I thought that was super exciting to hear Wilder talk in that capacity, and like,
man.
I don't know, he got me pumped up, man, when I heard him talking last night. I want to talk about, I was actually not looking forward to any of the undercard fights, except for the Benavidez fight. But that Nery Arroyo, of course, Arroyo got blown out. But, man, that Luis Nery guy is sure as fun to watch. I don't know if you guys caught that one.
Oh, yeah. No, he totally destroyed him last night.
Anyway, man.
Oh, my God. After that first uppercut that you couldn't even see, Arroyo was out of it. I was glad the ref stopped it when he did, you know?
Yeah.
And then the Areola fight was really good, I thought, for as long as that lasted. Areola looked good. But the fight I want to talk about before I get to the main event is, I'm so confused because I hadn't seen Benavidez fight for, however long he's been out now. And every time I see Benavidez fight, before I watch him fight, I'm always thinking like, am I remembering wrong? Or when I remember this guy, every time I watch him, I'm completely blown away by his style, but his like instinctiveness. He has power. He has defense. He has the ability to throw those crazy combos. And he's only 22 years old. He was a world champion at 20 years old. I'm completely baffled by the lack of there doesn't seem to be a real push behind the guy. I don't get it. Every time I watch Benavidez, he blows me away. And then, of course, last night what he did to Love was just, those combos when he had him up against the rope, I've never seen anything like that. Because they weren't just like, like a little guy's like pity-patty, like little punches. He's throwing like full-on punches, but he's throwing like 6, 7, 8 of them at a time. That guy is incredible, man. What do you guys think about Benavidez? I'd like to know what you guys think real quick.
Oh, I love Benavidez.
He looks
good. I think there's going to be a bigger push again with him now, as long as he can stay clean and stay out of trouble. Remember, the reason why we haven't seen him is he was suspended for a year because of drug use.
Oh, stop it. It's in the past.
Yeah, I know.
I got to bring that up, Robbie.
So,
every day's a battle, Robert. Come on. Stop it.
No, I know. But I'll tell you one thing, Paul. He's going to euthanize the dog. The dog is going to be euthanized.
Please, Robbie.
Oh, my God. Darrell does not belong anywhere near the ring with Benavidez, man. Darrell doesn't belong in the ring, period. And remember, Darrell
has his title, so he's entitled to get it back, and he's going to euthanize the dog.
Take it easy, Robbie. Take it easy.
But you know what it seems like? It seems like if you listen to Darrell last night, he kept saying, oh, yeah, of course I'll fight him. There's no problem. It's got to be the right amount of money. They got to give me that bag. It's like, oh, okay, so you're betting the dollar amount that's going to be above whatever they want to give you to fight Benavidez. And I don't know. Yildirim's still suing or trying to get the belt through the sanctioning body, right? Like he's contesting the ruling that they gave, right? Or did they settle that?
I don't know.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
I heard Yildirim went to the sanctioning body because I don't remember what belt it is.
WBC, I think.
Apparently Yildirim was... Okay, WBC. He was challenging the stoppage because you remember it was like an injury stoppage and they went to the cards or whatever. And Yildirim was kind of challenging it. So, and that's what we're talking about, right? Like Darrell was in a what do you call it? He was in a war with Yildirim. Yildirim was blown out. I know you can't do the math exactly, but he was blown out in 1 or 2 rounds against Chris Eubank. He didn't even look like he belonged in there. And that guy's supposed to fight Benavidez. I just don't see it. And then finally with the Spence and the Garcia fight, it's funny because that was what I was thinking before the fight started. Of course, the build-up kind of got to me, and I was like, oh, man, maybe Mikey can figure out a way. But then the fight kind of played out the way I expected, but it was still impressive to see Errol dismantle Mikey the way that he did. You know, like once he figured it out, it was like he just found that sweet spot in the ring and just went to work like over and over and over again. But it was exciting to watch him just totally shut Mikey down. Like Mikey didn't land anything of any significance the entire fight, you know? So that's what I want to talk about though real quick is it was impressive. I enjoyed watching that fight. I think a lot of it had to do with the build up to it, you know what I'm saying? There was a sense of occasion to it, so that kind of helped it seem better than it was. And although Mikey didn't land anything of significance, he did do a good job of staying in the fight, looking like, although he wasn't landing anything, he was still trying. Like, it felt like he found some openings and he just couldn't time it right or whatever. But at the end of the day, I got to say, that was a terrible matchup. It should have never happened. And I know that there's all this talk about Porter ducked and whatever. Who knows what's going on. All I know is I was very disappointed when Mikey called out Errol at the last fight, and Errol's like at the announcing desk, like, oh heck yeah, I'll fight that guy. He's like 2 weight classes down. After he just fought Ocampo, after he just fought whoever else. I'll be honest, I think Spence right now is one of the best fighters in the world. I totally believe that. I'd like him to prove it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see him fight Manny Pacquiao. I don't want to see Manny really fight any of the top dogs at 147. His next fight is going to be a cash-out fight. And that's why he probably is going to fight Errol Spence. And the other reason why I say that is because after the fight, I don't know if you guys caught this, it was very interesting what Beeb said about what Sam Watson said. But I was watching Richard Schaefer hold court at the press conference afterwards, who obviously has some sort of involvement at the higher level with the PBC. So he's some sort of decision maker. So what he's saying holds a lot of weight. And he was going out of his way to saying, first of all, he kept saying Errol Spence is by far the pound-for-pound best fighter in boxing. And then as soon as someone brought up Crawford, he said, oh, yeah, Crawford's good too. And then he went right back to Errol Spence. And then someone was like, hey, what about the Crawford fight? What do you think about that? And he's like, you know, I don't know. It's not that big of a fight. And then he was like, but Manny, oh my gosh, Manny Pacquiao. Now there's the fight, you know? And then he like kept going on about Manny and about how that between him and Errol would be just a humongous fight. And then someone brought up Crawford again. And he was like, look, I don't even know if it's such a big deal if Errol fights Bud, because, you know, there's so many of these guys under the PBC banner that he could fight. And what he was basically saying was PBC wants to have all the fights with PBC fighters, and that it does not sound very hopeful in terms of us getting the Spence versus Bud fight. And I'll be honest, man, I understand all the politics. I understand all the money. Not saying I know what's going on, but I'm saying I understand that. But again, I'm talking as a fan here. And as a fan, there is no other fight to me that even matters. At heavyweight, it's AJ versus Wilder. That's the fight that matters. At welterweight, it's Errol and it's Bud. And that's the fight that needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? And then Schaefer had the nerve to say, well, no, we got to let this fight get bigger, yada, yada, yada. No. If you're saying that because you don't want the fight. And I don't mean like from a ducking perspective, like they're scared of them, but it's because they don't think the money makes sense for them as a promotional company, not from the perspective of is this a big fight or not. You know what I'm saying? So that was really disappointed. I'm pretty upset to hear that. Again, I just got to reiterate, I really don't want to see Manny against any of these guys at all. Manny has not beaten anyone of any note recently. He knocked out Lucas Matisse, who's now retired. He lost to Jeff Horn. Who did he just beat? Who was the last guy?
Adrian Broner.
Adrian Broner in a snooze fest, no less. I don't know. I'm not very excited going forward here right now based on what I was hearing after last night's fight. So But anyway, guys, thank you for taking my call as always, and I'm glad I caught it this morning. I almost missed the reminder. So,
good job.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Okay, see you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Good deal. Thank you so much. Let me address a couple of things that he said there. I mean, and I'm with him. I don't want to see Pacquiao fight Spence, but again, I mean, listen, Porter didn't want the fight. It could have been Porter last night. He did not want the fight. Spence can only fight who's put in front of him. And yeah, do we want the Crawford-Spence fight? Yeah, we do. I don't think there's any question about that. Are we going to get it? No, we're not. Not anytime soon. So just deal with it. We want Fury Wilder too. Are we going to get it? Not right now. We want Fury or AJ versus Wilder. Are we going to get it? No, not right now. It just is what it is. So we just have to enjoy what's put in front of us. And the Pacquiao fight, like I said, man, the Pacquiao fight is not, not a fight that I'm looking forward to. I mean, I think Spence walks that fight.
No, I honestly think that we're going to see Pacquiao and Thurman and Porter and Spence. I think that's how it's going to wind up.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. Remember, if you're on the lines, just keep your points. Keep your calls to the point and that kind of thing, and then whatever you want to talk about. But we got a lot of people. We still got a lot of things to discuss here, so let's get moving. Area code 805. 805, you're live.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Hey, Nacho.
Nacho, long time no see, baby.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been around lately, but I had to call in for this one.
Absolutely.
In regards to the pay-per-view last night, I agree with you guys. The production value was completely terrible. Like, there was too much downtime in between fights. And normally the PBC is not like that. They like to get guys out there and fighting and everything. So this whole idea of let's go out there and sell every single one of our guys to the viewing public, it's like, that's a bit too much. You don't need Deontay Wilder holding court for fucking 20 minutes talking to Heidi Androl. Like, I don't need a 20-minute interview to know who he is and what he's about. Like, that's ridiculous. You could have legit made that a 5 to 10-minute interview and got your point across. They just let him bloviate the entire time and really didn't say a whole hell of a lot. And then as far as the fights were concerned, especially the undercard, I pretty much said from the beginning I thought the undercard was terrible, and it proved it. All the A-sides pretty much dominated the B-sides, and the B-sides had no shot in hell of winning, and the A-sides proved it. It's funny how Paul is one of the few people who finally got exposed to Luis Neri last night for the first time. That kid has been a really good fighter for a long time. His issue is going to be with the scale. Can he consistently make 118 with no issues going forward? If he can, he's legitimately the only guy who can possibly compete and maybe even beat Inoue at 118, in my opinion. He's probably the biggest threat to him. And then as far as the main event, I never thought Garcia had a chance to win that fight. I kept telling everybody that this was a showcase for Errol Spence to prove that he was the best welterweight in the division, and he proved it last night. Easily, he dominated him, never gave him a shot to really ever do anything. I mean, just the punch stats alone, were completely one-sided. Mikey never got any semblance of offense going. He was pretty much defensive the whole fight. And the one thing I don't understand was even the PBC, Heidi Androl reported that Robert kept telling him, like, I don't like the way you're looking out there after the 9th round. I think I'm going to stop it. And Mikey's like, no, let me go back out there and improve it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why are you letting this guy go back out there? Like, for the last 3 rounds, he had no shot to win that fight. He just got hit repeatedly over and over, and he got embarrassed. And I just don't understand why Garcia was so reticent to, pull the plug on the fight. He should have stopped that fight after the 9th round. Garcia had no shot to win, and he just let him get, punished more than he should have. And hopefully it doesn't affect Mikey going forward, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out from now on, if taking those extra rounds ended up coming back to haunt him. As far as what Paul was saying about the post-fight with Schaefer, I'm not surprised. Schaefer's always been the master of deflecting and always making shit up like that when it comes to guys who are outside of, his own promotion's stable. So for him to sit there and tell the media, oh, he's got all these options. What options? All these fucking guys are ducking him, plain and simple. Thurman doesn't want anything to do with Spence. Garcia is going out of his way to fight Brandon Rios and guys of that nature, Adrian Granados, and Porter is over here fighting Ugas, who he lost to. And I'm tired of these people saying that these guys are legitimately willing to step in there with Spence and fight him. Then how come the last 2 years he hasn't been able to fight anybody except Lamont Peterson, Kell Brook, and Mikey Garcia? If he has so many options, why are all these other guys straight up hiding in plain view? And I just found it funny that when they interviewed Spence yesterday after the post-fight, he was calling Porter out, and Porter wasn't really saying anything to convince me that he really wanted that fight. To me, he's just going through the motions of proclaiming he wants to fight, but in reality, he doesn't want that fight. He knows he's not on that level, and he knows that Spence will give him a beating just like the way he gave to Garcia last night. It was the only guy. With regards to Benavidez, he didn't lose a step. He looked really good last night. I honestly think the only guy in that division who can give him a legitimate challenge is Callum Smith. I think Benavidez beats Durrell, and I think he beats Caleb Plant. I'm not convinced either one of those two guys can beat him. I think Callum Smith's pretty much the only guy in that division who's any semblance of a threat to Benavidez. And yeah, that's it, guys. That's my call. I know you guys had other people waiting. So.
All right.
Well, thanks, Nacho.
Thank you for calling in. It was great to hear from you again, man. That was good, man. He always does a great job breaking down those fights. So there you go. Area code 612, Minneapolis. You're live.
Hello?
Yes. You're live.
You're on the air.
What's up, guys? This is Andres from Minneapolis. Yeah.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I have a question. Do you guys think if Mikey Garcia was like 3 inches taller, would it have even mattered? Like if he was an actual welterweight?
No.
I
said this.
So.
I touched on this last night that if Mikey Garcia was just a natural 147, doing what he did, 4-time champion, it still wouldn't have mattered last night. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. What he did, what he was on, what he trained. It just wouldn't have mattered. I mean, that version of Spence beats him 10 times out of 10 times.
Right. Yeah, Spence beat him in every aspect of boxing. There was this one punch that Spence threw. I think it was in the 8th round. That was super impressive. I mean, it looked like it was a left hand. No, it was a right hand. It was going to his body, and all of a sudden, it just changes like mid direction and just clocks him. And I was like, wow, this guy, he really is special. But yeah, I really do want to see the Pacquiao fight, though. I just think it would be a good fight for boxing, even though he will for sure win the fight. He'd probably even stop Pacquiao. But I think it'll just be a good passing of the torch sort of fight for boxing, and I think it'd be even better for the Spence story. I just think it'll be a really good fight. I don't know why are you guys against the fight though?
Well, I think that and I tell you what, and it is if the Pacquiao fight does take place, I think it is going to be that passing of the torch fight. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. That's how it's going to be. I think that's how it's going to be viewed, is the passing of the torch. But I just don't think. I mean, I don't think it's a competitive fight. I really don't. I don't think Pacquiao has much left at 40 years old to give him. Listen, Pacquiao, 7-8 years ago, you know, in his prime, would have had trouble with this guy, you know, and you know he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he can box. Pacquiao has trouble with boxers. Spence is a very good boxer. It's just it's a recipe for disaster for Pacquiao. I mean, and nobody wants to see. Everybody likes Pacquiao. Nobody wants to see him go out like that. Nobody wants to see him get finished, and I think that's what we're looking at here.
And I'm seriously afraid that he'll get seriously hurt.
Yeah, but just one last thing. I think Pacquiao is looking for that big fight, and I don't think Thurman or Porter or even Danny Garcia is going to be a big enough draw. I think he's probably going to go with Spence.
Oh, I agree.
I hope so.
I agree.
I don't think any of those guys are. Yeah. But yeah, nice talking to you guys again, and yeah, good show.
Absolutely,
well, thanks for the call, man.
For calling in, man. Call back, man. Call back again, man. That was good. And he's right. I mean, B, would you agree with me that is a passing of the torch type of fight?
Yeah, I do, because Mayweather's gone, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so we got to have somebody. And pack in, 50,000 people or 47,000 people, excuse me. That's a big deal, you know.
Well, here's what another thing, and maybe this is kind of irrelevant to a lot of people because I know people don't like talking about the business side of the sport. But beforehand, and I think Spence alluded to this too during his press conference and in some interviews after the fight, beforehand, the narrative on Spence was too much risk for too little reward. But now, after this, seeing how many people were there and seeing how much attention was given to this fight, whereas when you looked at Sean Porter's last fight, compare that event to this event. You could say whatever you want about the fight, the undercard, the pay-per-view, but this was a great event. Like in terms of turnout and the amount of people that were there, and who was there, and how Fox throughout the whole course of the week on all of their sports shows, and when they had college basketball games and they had sports shows on their network, they kept talking about this fight. So I think in terms of the event itself, I think Spence was greatly elevated in the boxing community and somewhat in just the general public. I think some casual fans got exposed to Errol Spence, and I think a lot of them will like him. And I think he did a great job with the interviews all week. The way he carries himself and the way he talks and answers questions to the press seems very engaging, seems very genuine, seems very honest. Got a great personality, kind of low key, confident but not braggadocious. So I think all in all, this event was a success because it did accomplish one great thing. It elevated Spence and I think made him more popular to just the boxing public and the general public as well. So I think these guys will possibly fight him now because they realize that he is the attraction in the division. Because Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, they're not drawing what this guy can draw until they do an event like I saw last night with close to 50,000 people in a stadium. Then I'm going to have to question just how popular they are, and question if they ever try to use that risk for reward argument moving forward.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, right now you have to say Canelo's the money man in the, you know what I mean? But Spence.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about the welterweight division. I'm talking about
Spence is not Spence, but Canelo's definitely the money man in boxing.
Correct.
But I think Spence wants to take over that role. You know what I mean? Now it's going to take a long time to take over that role. Don't get me wrong. But Canelo, like right now, is definitely the money guy. But those were some impressive numbers. I will be really interested to see the pay-per-view numbers on this.
Yeah,
I'll be very interested to see the pay-per-view. We'll see what they say. We'll see what they say.
I'll be curious to see if it does more than the Wilder Fury pay-per-view.
Well, and the thing is too, you have to think of that big promotional machine, that Fox machine.
Yeah,
really backed this and really did a lot to sell this pay-per-view. They weren't playing around. They did a lot.
Well,
a lot of promotion.
Well, let me ask you this, because Garcia's from California, Spence's from Texas. Those are two huge states, and both of those guys have a lot of fans in both states. And Garcia had a lot of fans that came down with them to Texas, right?
Right.
So just with those two states alone, the populations that they have, How many of those people do you think bought pay-per-views out of those two states?
Oh, of course.
Quite a few.
Those are the two largest states in the country, correct? Texas and California. So you got one guy from one of the largest states and another guy from the largest state population-wise and size-wise. So that in itself can generate a lot of pay-per-view buys.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see, based off of that, if that is a huge impact, which I think it will be.
Right. All right, let's go back to the phones here. I'm going to try this one more time here. Area code 412, which is Pittsburgh. 412, you're live.
Hey, it's Plaster God.
Plaster God, what's happening?
What's up, guys?
Not much.
How you doing? Just calling in. I talked to you the other night. I wanted to. A couple of those early phone calls were painful, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was just me. Oh my God. Hey, but one thing I wanted to say about the Sean Porter fight that happened, that I can't stand watching the Sean Porter fight. I don't know about you guys. I think he's a good representative of boxing, but I can't stand watching the guy fight. So I hope that Errol Spence fight happens sooner, because I think he'll wipe Porter out and take that belt. And I think that needs to happen. But I like to see him fight Pacquiao too. I just hope Pacquiao's not too hesitant. I think
Manny's going to get seriously hurt when that fight happens. I really have my doubts.
No. Yeah, I don't think he'll get that hurt. But what I do think is these fighters know how to fight, and it's like Mikey Garcia last night. The reason why he didn't get knocked out is because he didn't want to get knocked out. He didn't trade with Errol Spence, okay? It's like when Errol Spence knocked Kell Brook, and when he what's Chris in the cage? What's that guy's name again?
Chris Algieri.
Algieri, yeah. Like, he was trading with Errol Spence, and that's how he got caught. He opened up. Mikey Garcia didn't want to get knocked out. He's an elite fighter, so he stayed shelled up, and he knew where to catch the punches. He didn't open himself up he just wanted to make it through. I think at a certain point in the fight, he knew he wasn't going to win the fight anymore. I think he wanted a moral victory, and he had no quit in him. He didn't want somebody to stop the fight. Like, he's a warrior. But at the same time, those punches hurt, and he didn't want to open himself up to get knocked out. He's a smart fighter. So at that elite level, you can fight and not get knocked out. Okay? That's my personal opinion. That's the way it looked to me. It didn't look like he was fighting to not get knocked out. Errol Spence would have knocked, if he would have started opening himself up, he would have put him down. What else? I thought it was a hell of a fight. I thought it was what it was. You know, I thought it was a fantastic showing for him. And you know, stars, and like, I think he's gonna be a pound for pound great. I think he's always gonna be. I think he's going to be in the conversation now, and I think he'll wipe the division out. And people are talking about 154. Yeah, he'll take up to 154, but I think he wants to unify the division before he does that. And he's not going to fight Crawford until last. He'll get all the other belts before he fights Crawford. So the fight will happen, and all the guys, promoters, they all want it to happen too. But it's going to happen when they allow it to happen. Bob's going to be calling for the fight the whole time, just keep hyping up Crawford. But that fight's not going to happen until the three belts are unified first, and then that fight will happen last.
Yeah,
and then he'll move up to 154.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, come on. Everybody knows people are going to be clamoring for that fight. It's not going to happen until last.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Porter now knows that a regular good fighter can beat him after that last showing, and he's going to want to drop that belt to an elite fighter like Earl, because then he can still recover his career from there. Kind of like Danny Garcia dropped the belt to a Thurman, you know, versus dropping it to a fighter that's just a top 15 but not in the top 8. Just I think Porter knows that because that fight was a draw in my eyes. But he didn't do enough to take the title. But Sean didn't look like he won the fight neither. It just, to me, it looked like a draw that the champion kept the belt. It just, I don't know. Porter he's one guy I like as a person. I like how he represents boxing. He's a good boxing representative. But as far as watching him fight, I kind of cringe when I watch him fight. It's so frustrating watching him fight. I mean, it really is. Thurman's not what he says he is anymore. That one-time shit's out the door. I think Errol Spence is going to sit him down too.
Yep.
I think Pacquiao would beat Porter, but Pacquiao Thurman, that's a close fight. And it's only a close fight because Pacquiao's older.
That's right.
A couple of years ago, Pacquiao would have wiped the mat with him. He would have wiped the mat with him. But I think Pacquiao could squeeze that fight out, possibly. And then if Spence doesn't fight Pacquiao next, what Rob said is going to happen. It'll be Thurman, Pacquiao, Spence, Porter, unless Spence gets a mandatory that pops up where he has to defend the title, and then the big fight will happen a year from now, which could very well happen. The IBF could throw in one of the mandatories that he has to defend the belt, and then
the
big fight.
The last time he fought a mandatory was against that Mexican kid Campo. So I don't know when his mandatory would be due. I don't know how long they take.
Yeah, how long ago is that though?
That was
every year, right?
That was last year, wasn't it, Eric? When he fought the Campo.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have to get one of them easy fights. Not if we all say easy fight, the fighter that's not well known, that's a number one contender. That just kind of like Porter's last fight. We don't really know the guy. He comes in, does a good showing, and I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know, but it seems like every the guy that manages him, and he manages the guy that gave Canelo. I'm having like a brain freeze here. The boring 134 fighter that just lost his belt. The guy that fought Canelo.
The only 154 that
everybody thought like.
The only 154 that just recently lost his belt was one of the Charlos.
You talking about the British dude that Canelo beat?
No. What's
Fielding?
Who did Canelo beat after Floyd beat him?
Oh, I don't remember.
What's his name?
No.
Oh God, the Cuban guy.
Oh, Erislandy Lara.
Oh, Laura. Laura.
His manager seems like that manager is always managing guys that like can't punch and always cry after they lose a fight. It seems like the light-skinned guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway,
right,
I think it was a good night of boxing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Thanks for the call, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, no.
All right.
Let's get moving here. All right, Jason just sent me a tweet, and I just looked at it here. It's from Errol Spence, and last night Oscar De La Hoya went on Spence's timeline and tweeted him out and says, Errol Spence Jr., congratulations on your victory. If you want to make real money, let me promote your next fight on DAZN USA. Errol Spence responded. Right?
What a fucking idiot.
Well, he was wasn't he was going on and on about people trying to steal Ryan Garcia, and he does this every chance he can get.
Yeah,
he's such an idiot.
Fucking idiot.
Right.
Errol Spence responded. This was odd, man. Errol Spence responded. You don't treat black fighters well, brother. Wow.
Well,
that's harsh.
You tell him, Earl.
Who does he got over there? I mean, Oscar De La Hoya.
Well, it's not his. I mean, I don't know that he doesn't treat black fighters well.
Well, I'm not saying he does or he doesn't, but I mean, who does he have over there?
He doesn't have any 147s I'm aware of.
Well, it's not. That's not the point. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, I don't know of a lot of black fighters that are doing well in the stable, but that doesn't mean he doesn't treat them well. I mean, he signs primarily Mexican guys because they relate to him and stuff like that. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, but it doesn't make him like, I don't know. I don't know. That's rough, man. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's kind of a rough thing. That's kind of a harsh thing to say, man. Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's below the belt, Oscar. Hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so on the undercard of Fox, David Benavidez knocked out, won by TKO in round 3 over Jay Leon Love. Looked very impressive, as we said. Luis Neri versus McJoe Arroyo. Neri wins with a TKO in round 3. And I'll tell you what, Luis Neri, man, how about him and Inoue? My gosh, can you even imagine that fight?
The only thing that concerns me, Eric, is he's had trouble making that weight. I wonder how much longer he can stay there.
I don't know, man, but I'm going to dream about that fight. Chris Arreola versus Jean-Pierre Augustin. Arreola wins by 3rd round TKO. And then on the undercard, that Fox, the free fight on Fox was Charles Martin versus Gregory Corbin. Just a disgrace by Greg Corbin. He was completely outboxed in every round and ultimately disqualified for low blows. And I mean, he would rather, and even the commentator alluded to it, he would rather he bought out of this fight. I mean, he would rather lose by a disqualification than lose by a KO or decision.
Right.
I mean, he'll never get another chance like this again. That was just silly, man. He was just completely outgunned. On DAZN, Tevin Farmer versus Joan O'Carroll. Tevin Farmer won a close fight against Carroll. Carroll did great, man. He left everything out there during this fight, gave it us all. Very impressive by both guys, but at the end of the day, Farmer wins 117, 110, 117, 111 twice. Scores I thought maybe were a little wide, but at the end of the day, the right guy won. So there's a lot of talk about Tevin Farmer and Tank Davis fighting. I tell you what, the more and more I see Farmer, I like him, but there's no way he beats Tank. I don't think he beats him.
No, not at all. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. Katie Taylor versus Rose Vellante on that undercard. Katie Taylor dominated Vellante and eventually won by TKO in the 9th. She is now the IBF, WBA, and WBO lightweight champion. Now, there is a rumor going around, a very soft rumor right now, that she will be on the undercard of the June 1st Anthony Joshua fight in New York to fight the WBC champion, I guess, and unify all those belts. So
that makes sense.
Very interesting there. Gabe Rosado versus Maciej Suleski. Suleski wins a unanimous decision by 95-93 and 95-91 twice. Both men were down twice in this fight. Good fight, but Suleski wins. Luke Campbell beat Adrian Young by TKO in the 5th round. And Hank Lundy loses a majority decision to Avery Sparrow 94-94, 96-92, and 95-93. And I don't care what anybody says, Hank Lundy should have fired his management company, his promotional company, and everybody involved with him years ago. Because that guy is a star, and if you talk to him for 5 minutes, you'll know he's a star. He knows what he's doing. He's great. Great talker, great everything, man. And they put him in situations that it's hard. And not that Sparrow was one of those situations, but talking about through the course of his career and stuff like that, I mean, I think he could have been a much bigger star than he was. And I think it was they just didn't know what to do with him, and they were just for lack of promotion, honestly. So that's my 2 cents anyway. Take it for what it's worth. All right. So the boxing schedule coming up here, upcoming fights tonight on ESPN Plus. And I'm not sure, Robert, do you know what time this starts?
No.
All right. Michael Conlon, his annual St. Patrick's Day fight versus
Garcia
Hernandez.
I think it's 3 o'clock, Eric. I'm sorry. I think it's 3 o'clock.
Yes, I think you might be right. I think it's early.
10
rounds featherweights, Louis Collazo versus Sammy Vargas. 10 rounds welterweights, Patty Barnes, your boy, versus Oscar Mojica. 6 rounds bantamweights. And there you go. And that's on ESPN Plus. Now, let's see here. On March 23rd, that's a Saturday, Robert?
That's Saturday, yeah.
All right. March 23rd, Kubrat Pulev versus Bogan Dinu. 10 rounds heavyweights. This will be on ESPN. Jesse Magdaleno versus Rico Ramos. 10 rounds featherweights. And then once again, that'll be on ESPN. Friend of the show, Chris Van Heerden on the undercard versus Mahanri Montes. 8 or 10 rounds welterweights. Friend of the show, Tyler McCreary versus Roberto Castaneda, 6 or 8 rounds featherweights. So there you go. From Leicester, England, on ESPN Plus that same day, Sam Bowen versus Jordan McCrory, 12 rounds for Bowen's British junior lightweight title. Nathan Gorman versus Fabio Maldonado, 12 rounds heavyweights. Who's putting on that card? Is that an Eddie Hearn card?
Sounds like it.
That's got to be a Frank Warren thing or something like that. Jesus. Come on. Step it up, guys. March 23rd, in London on DAZN, Charlie Edwards versus Angel Moreno, 12 rounds for Edwards, WBC flyweight title. Joshua Buatsi versus Liam Conroy, 12 rounds for the vacant British light heavyweight title. Lawrence Okoli versus Wadi Camacho, 12 rounds for Okoli's British in Camacho's Commonwealth cruiserweight titles. How about that for a unification? So there you go. Lewis Ritson back in action against German Argentino Benitez, 10 rounds junior welterweights. Not exactly a stellar card either. And I'm looking. I'm not seeing anything. March 24th. That's a Sunday?
That's a Sunday, next Sunday, on Fox Sports 1.
Lamont Peterson versus Sergey Lipinets, 12 rounds welterweights. Anthony Peterson versus Argenis Mendez, 10 rounds junior welterweights. Jamonte Clark, that's right, versus Vernon Brown, 10 rounds junior middleweights, Titletown, baby. And that will be on Fox Deportes FS1.
Yep.
All right, from Oxon Hill, Maryland, the hotbed of sports lately. And then that is it. That is it for next week. That's it for the action next week. So there you go.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about the news and rumors here. And this is real interesting, and this definitely got heated. Last time we talked about it, Beeb has been talking about it all week, going back and forth with people and stuff like that. And I think me and Beeb fall on two different sides of the coin on this. Deontay Wilder is having a press conference Tuesday and is expected to turn down a 3-fight, $100 million deal with DAZN. So what we know so far is Wilder was offered $100 million for a 3-fight deal with DAZN. This was confirmed by Shelley Finkel and Mike Coppinger via Mike Coppinger. A few days ago, Chris Mannix tweeted that Deontay Wilder probably not going to take the deal. The fact that you saw him give it like a 10, 15-minute interview last night on the pay-per-view pretty much doubles down on the fact that he's not going to take that. I mean, if he was going to take that, I wouldn't put him on my network.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's just common sense. I mean, we're going to forget about him and we're going to move on with what we have, not what we don't have. So I think it's pretty safe to say that he's definitely not going to sign the deal with DAZN, which kind of robs us of a Dillian White fight, an Anthony Joshua fight, and a lot of other major fights. And the worst part about this whole thing is it ties up all three guys, Joshua, Fury, and Wilder, 3 separate promotions, 3 separate guys. You know, come on.
Eric, unfortunately, it looks like what we're going to see is Wilder fight Brazil on Fox pay-per-view May 18th.
I don't think it's going to be on pay-per-view. I think it's
that's what it said.
God, it's
Who
said that?
I think it's going to be on regular Fox. It hasn't been confirmed yet.
Yeah,
I think it's
on
regular.
pay-per-view. Wait a minute, where was on pay-per-view at?
It's a rumor. It's a rumor.
It's a rumor that it's going to be on pay-per-view. It's not. Okay. I'm not saying it's going to be. It's rumored. Gotcha. And then you have the Joshua Miller fight on June 1st. The only one that doesn't have a date would be Fury.
Yeah.
No, Fury, I believe, has a date already. Fury's got a date. He just doesn't have an opponent.
Well,
they all fight within like a couple of weeks of each other, I think, or a couple of.
I think they're trying to have a date. I think they're trying to get Fury a fight in either May or June, but I don't think it's been confirmed yet.
No, I think the date has been confirmed. I thought the date was June 15th. I thought the date was June 15th.
Oh, has it been? I don't know. I'll double check that.
Yeah, double check me. Fact check me on that, please.
But see, this is the part about the boxing business I absolutely hate. You got 3 legitimate heavyweights, and now they're going to be on 3 separate platforms.
You're right, Eric. June 15th, correct.
June 15th. Okay. You know, so so I don't know how in the world you're going to get the worlds to coexist to get Wilder and Fury back together for a rematch, and to get the winner of that fight, if it happens, to fight Joshua. Because what does Wilder do after he beats Brazil, and what does Joshua do when he beats Miller? I mean, these guys eventually have to get in the ring with one another, don't you think?
You'd think.
Yeah.
But who's the most vulnerable out of these guys? I think it's got to be Wilder, no?
Yeah.
Well, I think
it's Wilder. He's the most vulnerable, man.
I think Anthony Joshua is just as vulnerable as Wilder, because I don't think he has the stamina or the durability as Wilder. You can argue he's a better boxer. I still think Wilder hits harder, and I think Wilder has better stamina, and I think Wilder is more durable. You know,
than Joshua.
I think so.
Out there
Yeah.
fighting killers too. I mean, he's fighting good guys.
No, he is. Believe me, I take nothing away from Joshua, but I don't know. I think Wilder's got more dog in him than Joshua does, to be honest with you.
Did you?
Well, and
I did see the Klitschko fight, but again, Klitschko didn't go in for the kill either.
No, and remember, Klitschko was a lot older. But what impressed me most is Wilder put Fury on the canvas. He looked like he was out. He got up and continued fighting. Yeah. Can Anthony Joshua do that when he gets hit by Wilder?
I don't know. He could, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. But Robert, what are your thoughts on him turning down this $100 million 3-fight deal with DAZN?
Well,
which potentially, which potentially has AJ. That's the only way you're fighting AJ. And I don't care if you say AJ's a free agent. He's tied down. He's tied down as much as Wilder is.
Right.
Put it that way.
I look at it this way. If you look at it logically, you never turn down that kind of money. But if I'm Wilder, if I talk to the people at DAZN, I say, look, my mandatory is with Brazil, and then I got to fight Joshua. And the only way I take the DAZN deal is if I take care of my mandatory, you allow me to do that, and then I have 2 fights with Joshua. Otherwise, why do I sign that deal? You know, logically, you can't turn down that kind of money. I don't know why anybody would, but from my skeptical point of view, I'm still questioning, how successful this DAZN venture is going to be, considering they're not relying on any TV partnerships whatsoever to finance them or to put on their cards.
Everybody's all over DAZN. Like, where are they getting money? Who cares? They're offering the fighters money. That's it.
Yeah.
They're getting paid. Somebody's getting paid. Listen, if they were in breach of contract, we'd know about it.
Oh, they got a lot of money. They got a lot of resources.
I don't
they got a lot of
this whole thing. Like, they're going to fold and they can't pay for it. Yeah, they can.
Yeah, they got the money.
Right.
Whether they're losing money or not, it's a big conglomerate that backs them.
So if they're losing money, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not like the money that the people that are like. It's not like
it's such a tired argument.
Yes, it's not like the Perform Group who funds the DAZN is ever going to go out of business. They're a multi-billion-dollar entity. So
right, and again,
they got
money.
Yeah, they got money to burn. So that argument, that is a very weak argument. With all due respect,
All right.
Now, whether or not they want to keep losing money just because they have it, that's another argument, and that's a totally fair point on your part, Robbie.
And that's way above our pay grade, guys. I don't know how to run a network.
100%. 100%.
Right.
100%.
I'm not going to worry about running a network.
No, I get you.
100%, Eric. You're correct.
I get you, but I find this whole thing frustrating. If somebody legitimately offered me that kind of money, how could I say no?
Well, knowing
that the fight is on the back end. Knowing that the fight is on the end. Listen, and we know if you sign with DAZN, you will fight AJ. That's the deal. You will fight him. And I don't care if he signs with Fox, which Beeb is, Beeb and I were talking, and I think Beeb is leaning toward, he thinks that Fox is going to give him a deal or whatever. If he does sign with Fox, okay, and he does get that deal, they can't guarantee him AJ. You want AJ. This is what you're saying. I want AJ. I want AJ. There you go. We just gave him to you.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yes.
So this is my whole argument. They put together an ESPN deal for him. And they were going to give him allegedly $12.5 million to fight Brazil. That was the first fight of the ESPN deal, allegedly, right? And I believe that was also a three-fight deal as well. So what happens? Reportedly, he's supposedly getting $12.5 to fight Brazil now because I believe that offer was matched. I don't know if Showtime matched it or Fox matched it, but the word out there is that offer was matched for the Brazil fight. So now DAZN throws an offer together. So what if Fox throws an offer together for Wilder and the numbers are very comparable to the DAZN numbers? Is everyone going to say that Wilder's an idiot? Because everyone thought Fury was a genius. They had no problem with Fury not fighting Wilder because, hey, he signed this huge deal with ESPN. He made the right. A
lot of people had a problem with it. I think a lot of people had a problem with it.
But you did it. You did it.
I thought the fight could still be made.
Okay, well, again,
because Wilder's the one claiming he's a free agent.
So's Joshua. He's still in a fight to fight.
Yes.
And here's something else I was thinking about because people are saying, well, how could DAZN and another broadcaster put a fight together? Here's what I was thinking. So say, for instance, they throw together a deal with Joshua. We'll fight Joshua. But they put it on pay-per-view in the United States, or maybe on a Fox pay-per-view. But they give DAZN the broadcast rights maybe a week later or 3 or 4 days later, and they allow them to show the rebroadcast of the pay-per-view on DAZN. Just like they kind of did with HBO and Showtime, how I think HBO showed the delayed broadcast of the Pacquiao-Mayweather pay-per-view.
Right.
So a lot of people may be saying, okay, you know what? I'm not going to buy this pay-per-view, possibly. But a lot of people, enough will say I will buy it the night of the fight. But there's still going to be those others that won't buy it the night of the fight, and they could watch it a week later or 5 days later. So that's how a deal could get put together with DAZN. It's totally feasible because Eddie Hearn said that ESPN and DAZN could work something out. So I would suspect that would mean DAZN probably showing a rebroadcast, a delayed rebroadcast of an event, if they were to work something out with Fury. So I think it's not impossible because, again, Joshua is the key piece here, and credit to Eddie Hearn and credit to Joshua on one point. They have a deal with DAZN, first and last right of refusal, so they are allowed to shop Joshua around to American broadcasters. But DAZN is also open, from what I understand from Eddie Hearn and John Skipper, to work with other broadcasters. John Skipper said that. So I'm sure John Skipper, for the sake of him putting a huge fight together, would take a back seat and possibly pick up a delayed broadcast of a pay-per-view. And that still would help DAZN. That still would enable them to get subscribers because a lot of people that can't afford the $85 will spend the $10 to watch it a couple of days later. And then you may say, well, they already know who won. But regardless, even if you already know who won and the fight turns out to be a great fight, how many people still want to see it? Because HBO...
Right, rebroadcasted like HBO and Showtime, yeah.
HBO and Showtime have been doing that for years. And historically, the rebroadcasts of the pay-per-views do pretty good numbers.
Right.
So that's why I'm thinking outside the box here. And I was saying to myself, I think what's going to happen, I strongly suspect this, that Fox is going to put something together, put together a nice package for Deontay Wilder that will rival the DAZN deal. And the Joshua fight still could get made if they put the fight on Fox pay-per-view and give DAZN a delayed rebroadcast. So I think that's totally feasible, in my opinion.
Possibly, but again, there's a lot of red tape that goes along with that.
Well, there's always going to be red tape.
Which lets me know that fight is now nowhere close.
But the fight still wasn't close because guess what?
The fight would have been very close if he signs that contract.
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why.
Sure.
You could be right and you could be wrong.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Signs a 3-fight deal, right?
Yeah.
One of those fights is not Joshua.
Right.
Okay? So then the next 2 could possibly be Joshua, or maybe the last one could be Joshua.
All right.
So depending upon how that deal is written, if it does not say that the second fight or the third fight has to be Joshua, that still gives Eddie Hearn and DAZN room to delay the fight if they want to, and they could generate. So what they could do is they could get 2 more fights, or get another fight, or 2 more fights with Deontay Wilder that aren't Anthony Joshua, right? And they could say, well, we want to build this. We want to build this fight even more. We want to use Deontay Wilder to get more subscribers from America, and the Joshua fight still could be delayed to 2020. So that DAZN deal still does not guarantee a Joshua fight. Now, conventional wisdom would say that at least one of those 3 fights would be a Joshua fight, but we still don't know. So if that's not written into the contract, then I could totally see Deontay Wilder's point. And the way Hearn does business, even with this DAZN deal, he likes to put himself in a position where he has an out. He gave Joshua an out of this DAZN deal, meaning first and last right refusal. So there is an opportunity for another U.S. broadcaster to outbid DAZN and get a Joshua fight. So the way historically Hearn seems to do business is, what if he doesn't put in the contract that at least 1 or 2 of those 3 fights have to be with Joshua? And what if they're just content on getting Deontay Wilder onto DAZN and using him to help promote the app and help get subscribers in the United States for the app? And then your argument's going to be, well, so what? It's $100 million. Yeah, but he could still make $100 million too if Fox wants to give him a good deal. But at the end of the day, it's $100 million, but that means we still don't get a guarantee that fight's going to happen. So that's the whole problem here. If you don't have a guarantee that Joshua is one of those fights, which I suspect is the holdup in that deal, then that's why I think Deontay Wilder possibly may not sign that contract. And I think he keeps saying he's got something big to announce. Maybe Fox put together a nice deal for him that, like I said, is comparable to that $100 million, because they already matched ESPN's offer for Brazil. So who's to say Fox won't match it? Fox got a lot of money. Fox is not Showtime. Okay, Fox got a lot of money.
All right. So go ahead, Robert.
That's why I said the Brazil fight may be on pay-per-view, because of the price that Fox had to pay to match that deal.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Go ahead, Eric.
So look, I mean, just think about this logically for a minute. What other heavyweights? Okay, so again, we go back to the $100 million 3 fights. That's about $33 million per fight on average. On average, all right. That's the math. It is what it is. $33 million for 3 fights on average. Okay. He fights Brazil or Dillian White on his first fight. All right. That's $33 million. Who else is left to give him $33 million and make it worth it?
Well, I think Brazil would be number 1. White would be number 2. And are you doing this with or without Joshua, Eric?
Let's do it without. Who? You're going to pay him $33 million to fight Brazil.
Okay.
You're going to pay him $33 million to fight White, and you're going to pay him $33 million to fight who else? Nobody there.
No. This is the argument I hate that I'm getting in the chat right now.
What?
Even if Wilder doesn't get AJ fights, that's $100 million for fighting lesser fighters.
So
yeah, well, we don't. So
why
either? Yeah, I don't want.
Well, why do you? Why? So you would want to see lesser fighters instead of AJ? Right. Why condone that? You're not getting the money, so why would you care? You're not financially invested, so why would you care?
And Moreno's point is that it is better for Wilder. I get it. I see that,
people that say that in the chat, they're just they're Joshua fans. They're trying to protect Joshua. They don't want him to lose his titles, is what it is.
Thank you, Robbie. And Jason just said they paid Canelo $30 million to fight Rocky, and now Jacobson need to stop. I heard they didn't pay him $30 million. I heard they only paid Canelo $15 million to fight.
Yeah, it was $15 million.
So again, people hear that 365. So maybe they're going to give him 15 to fight Rocky. Maybe they'll give him 40 to fight Jacobs. You see what I'm saying?
And so at the end of the day, because they're not going to give him $33 million to fight Brazil or Dillian White or whatever. So at the end of the day, say they give him $15 million or $12 million or whatever the case.
No, they were going to give. Reportedly, they were going to give him 20 to fight Brazil, and then the other 20, 40.
You still got $80 million left over.
20, 40, and 40.
Because it's a guaranteed. It's a contract. You got $80 million left over. He can fight nobody else for that kind of money. That's my point.
No.
But again, this is the same argument Dillian White had. So if you're going to call Wilder a ducker, then you're going to have to call Dillian White a ducker, and you're going to have to call Tyson Fury a ducker.
Yeah,
the same.
I do.
So this is the argument.
I call all of them a duckers.
Okay. I'm going to say they're all looking out for their best financial interests. I'm not going to call any of them duckers.
Well, okay. You can say what you want, but I mean, listen, the fight was there. It was on the 1 yard line. Tyson Fury bought out. So
I respect your opinion 110,000%. I'm not questioning or trying to devalue your opinion whatsoever. I'm not trying to make it sound like that. If it did, I apologize. If it did, I apologize.
No.
What I am saying is this, and this is a big if, and I know people are saying, Beeb, shut up with this. You're an idiot. Bring it on. Give me 1,000 dislikes. Dillian White had the same problem that could be a potential problem for Wilder. Dillian White said, because there was a rematch clause in the Dillian White fight if Dillian White beat Joshua. Dillian White said the same thing. If I beat Joshua, why do I have to take the same money in the rematch? So my argument with this 3-fight deal is, you could say all you want about he's never made this, he's never made that. So I'm going to go back to the argument I made before. If I'm a contractor building $400,000 townhouses, and then all of a sudden I get a contract to build a fucking $1 billion, $2 billion mansion, I'm doing a different job, so I'm going to get paid what that job is worth. You pay people what the fight is worth. It doesn't matter. The other fights that Wilder fought are not worth as much as this fight with Joshua. So, of course, the pay scale changes. When you get promoted at a job, your pay scale changes. And you can sit there and say, well, you never did this job before. But again, so I never did this job before, but I'm doing it now, so I'm going to be paid what the job is worth now, today. We can go back 15 years. It doesn't matter. We're talking in present times. We're talking about what the fight is worth today. So my whole problem with this is the same situation with Dillian White. His argument was, why am I going to take this fight with a rematch clause that if I win, I get less in the rematch. I get the same in the rematch that I got in the first fight. So you get 20, 40, and 40. So if Wilder wins the first fight, and then he's the unified champion, and if he's only guaranteed $40 million in the rematch, I think that they're shortchanging him, because if he wins, and again, a broken record, I know I said this 1,000 times, but I'm going to say it again. If he wins the title, he's a unified champion. He becomes the star of the sport. He becomes a pay-per-view star in boxing. The rematch, if it's done in America on pay-per-view, I think at the bare minimum does 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. So why leave all of that potential pay-per-view money on the table? And that's a big if he wins. But they could still put a deal together. They should have offered him a 2-fight deal and said, we'll give you $40 million for the first Joshua fight, and if you lose, we'll give you $20 million or $25 for the rematch if you go into the second fight, the loser. But if you win, you have the right to put the fight anywhere you want. But give us the delayed rebroadcasting rights to the fight. That's the perfect deal. Just structure it that way. So say if you win and you want to shop the fight to
90 seconds.
Shop the fight to Fox pay-per-view, you can do that, but give us the delayed broadcasting rights. And that's it. Why couldn't they just do that? And then that gives him the ability to earn the most amount of money he can earn. Because why, if he's the unified champion, right, why should he get the same money in a rematch if he's the winner? Because Joshua is not going to get the same money if he's the winner, because Joshua has that Sky pay-per-view money. So why can't Wilder have American pay-per-view money? Why would you deprive him of getting that? That's what I'm saying. And people are yelling and screaming, call me an idiot, but I'm right. It makes sense. So DAZN can still be involved in the rematch, but allow him to shop the fight. Just like they're allowing Joshua. They give Joshua first and last rights refusal, right? So why can't they give Wilder that same deal? Why are they locking him in when they're not locking? Why does Joshua get the Sky pay-per-view money? And why does Joshua get the ability to shop the fight around to American broadcasters, and you're not giving that to Wilder? And their arguments
for a fact? No.
I'm suspecting that's the case. I'm suspecting that's the case.
But again, we don't know that for a fact because we don't run a network. And going back to my first point, we have to deal in fact here. We don't run
10 seconds.
And I don't know anything about running the network. I know nothing about running DAZN, CBS, Fox. That's not my expertise. You know what I mean? And you're talking about pay-per-view money and Sky, and why can't Wilder do this? Listen, it's DAZN. Listen, what I do know is that if they're trying to sign somebody, they're trying to sign somebody. If they're trying to make a fight and sign somebody, that's what they're going to do. What do you think? They're just going to let him leave with the title if that's the case? There's a rematch clause. All champions have it. Floyd had it. Everybody has it.
Okay, but give him first and last rights refusal like you gave Joshua.
Eric, I got an idea. Why don't we try to...
And if he did have that, then why hasn't that been publicized? All we know is it's 20, 40, and 40. So if it's 20, 40, and 40, right? That's all we know. So I'm going off of what was given. I'm going off of the information that's given to me.
Right, 20, 40, and 40. That's what we read.
So why can't he have first last rights refusal like Joshua?
That's not the case. We don't.
Because it wasn't said it was. Why don't they?
There's a lot of it in that contract that wasn't said.
So why don't they say it then?
Guys, I got an idea. Why don't we try to track down a network executive and interview them and find out how this stuff works?
They're not going to talk.
I'm going to put you in charge of that, Robert. Go track one down. Let's get Moonves on here and let's figure it out.
No, he's in hot water. I wouldn't want to talk to him.
There you go.
Who said that Sky would sign Wilder? Why can't Fox sign Wilder? Why can't Fox have an opportunity to bid on a Wilder Joshua rematch? Why not?
We don't know.
Well, obviously Fox is going to do something. They interviewed him for 20 minutes last night.
Well, here's the facts. Yeah. We know it's 20, 40, and 40. So I'm going off of what I'm told.
20, confirmed that, by the way. Yeah.
Finkel said it's 20, 40, and 40. So Eric's asking me, how do I know? Because I'm going off of what Finkel said, because Finkel saw the contract.
Well, Finkel was very this is what Coppinger reported, and he asked Shelley Finkel. And Shelley Finkel said the numbers were around that. That's all he said. He didn't say anything else.
Why will no one at least listen to my argument? If Wilder wins the first fight and the rematch is on Fox and it's on pay-per-view and it does $1.2 to $1.5 million pay-per-view buys, the fight becomes financially bigger.
Because you want me to tell you why?
Why won't anyone just? Why is that argument so incredulous to people?
I'm going to tell you why.
Is that a stupid? Am I making a stupid argument here?
No, you're not. Not at all.
Everyone's saying, of course it's an if, but why would he not? Everything is based off of projections, numbers. You think they have the numbers ahead of time? All these figures are based off of projections. So it's a 50-50 fight. So what happens if he wins?
All right.
No one's factoring that in. Name me one incident in history when a guy wins and he gets less money in a rematch after he wins.
Okay.
It's the same.
I'm going to tell you why your argument kind of falls apart. Okay, and it is a good argument. And let me tell you. What I like about your argument is that it's completely for Wilder. It's completely for the fighter getting the most money possible. Okay? I mean,
that's
you would
what
agree
it should.
With that, right?
These guys are concerned. These guys are concerned more with the promoters and the networks are getting as opposed to what the fighters are getting. So you're not real fans.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. You're on the right side. Listen to me. You're on the right side of the argument.
These guys are fans. These guys are fans for people in the suits and ties that sit behind the scenes. They're not in favor of the guys who actually have the gloves on that you're actually being entertained by. Are you going to sit there and go into a boardroom with a camera and tape what they're doing? Hey, wow, that was a great move you made with that pen. What a great move
Steven
you made with that
Espinosa's not
pen.
selling out arenas.
Wow, that was a great letterhead you put at the top of that contract. Oh wow, I'm creaming in my pants. Is that what you guys are entertained by? That's what you're entertained by?
But let me finish my point here. Is that, again, you're on the right side of the argument in the sense that you like Wilder and you like boxers and you want them to get the most money possible. So you're in your scenario, okay? Your scenario, you want Wilder to get the most money possible, okay? But the actual thing is that's not reality, all right? Because, and I'm going to tell you why it's not reality, because you're dealing with a network. The network, the people who sign him, they want to make the money here. So it would be silly. It would be absolutely silly to get a guy on your network and sign him and have the last fight be against, have the last fight be against, a guy, he wins the title and it goes to another network. Would you agree? I mean, think about it just like this for a minute. If you were in charge of DAZN Boxing or DAZN Sports or whatever, and you sign this guy, you make this big fight, big signing, tons of money, and he gets the belt and he leaves the network, you think he's going to stick around very long? You think that executive is going to stick around? No, he's not going to. He's getting fired that same day for making a dumb decision and letting that guy leave with the title. If we have the title on our network, people have to come to us. Okay.
I understand, and that's why I'm not criticizing. I never said the deal was a shit deal. I never criticized it, and I openly said that both sides are looking out for their best interests. But again, they should work something out, just like HBO worked something out with Showtime, where they get the delayed rebroadcast rights if Wilder wins in the first fight. Right. And then this guy Emmanuel Moreno just said, without that these networks make the fighters. No, the fighters make the networks. The fighters make the. Yeah, you can't. That is. I'm sorry.
If that was the case, they wouldn't be courting these fighters.
I mean, you can't sit there and say that you're a construction company and your workers aren't responsible for help you making your company big if they're doing the work for you. Stop.
Right.
Stop it.
So, like I said,
that's an elite. That's a very elitist attitude. That's a very elitist attitude.
If we break down, if we break down your argument, again, you side with the fighters, which is really where everybody should be. You should be siding with the fighters and wanting them to get the most money. But the reality is, if you think about it, they're not going to let him leave with that title. They're just not.
Okay.
And DAZN with AJ. That's why he hasn't fought on any other network right now, because they've made it worth his while.
Okay, I'm gonna make an argument here. So George, you just said HBO made the fighters, right? Beebs, you're wrong.
I disagree.
So let me ask you a question. If HBO and Showtime made the fighters, let me ask you a question. Where's the next Floyd Mayweather then? Why couldn't they make another Floyd Mayweather? If it's that easy for a network to just grab somebody off this, so you mean to tell me a guy with no personality, no fighting. So I can go on HBO and Showtime right now and they could make me a star. That's the most ridiculous statement anyone could make.
And just said, if the best fighters leave your network, then who's watching? He's 100% right.
So that's right. So these guys just proved my argument for me. They're more impressed with the networks and the promoters than they are with the fighters. So let's go watch a promoter put his suit and tie on in the morning, and let's take pictures of that. Let's go watch a promoter in a boardroom pass a contract to another person. Let's watch them put letterhead on the top of the piece of paper. I mean, come on, man.
Well, it is the age-old argument if you think about it. And everybody says doctors and teachers, they should make as much as pro athletes. But the bottom line is nobody's packing a stadium to watch them teach or watch them perform surgery. That's the bottom line. And until you can generate that kind of money, that's the way it is, And I agree. Hey, teachers and doctors, they should all get paid to the moon, But the fact is,
HBO made GGG. It wasn't the knockouts that made GGG. Right. It wasn't his style. You're an elitist. You're an elitist, man. You're an elitist.
That's a stupid comment. Whoever made that.
Yeah, George. We're gonna go. George is on his troll mode again.
He's on his troll mode. Okay, real quick here, and then we're gonna go to the phone again. Top Rank signs a 16-year-old Xander Zayas. Has anybody heard of this kid?
Nope.
Amateur star apparently. He's just 16. He's 16. Just signed a multi-year deal with Top Rank. He's from Puerto Rico and was a 2017-18 national champion. Xander apparently would be too young to go to the Olympics, so he's turning pro. So how about that?
Well, Annie, I don't think he'll be able to fight in the U.S. until he's 18. So
I don't know.
Probably fights are going to have to be in Puerto Rico or Mexico or someplace.
I hear he's real good. They say he is. They believe, man. They believe.
Wow, 16 years old. 16 years old,
16, yes.
That's great.
16.
Okay.
Top Rank and MTK, Mac the Knife Global, ink a multi-year licensing agreement. According to ESPN, Top Rank and MTK Global have inked a deal for ESPN and ESPN Plus. Under the deal, ESPN platforms will air about 30 MTK Global shows a year, emanating mostly from the UK and Ireland. The first show and the deal is still to be announced, but terms were agreed and not disclosed. People in there. Carl Frampton is in there. Tyson Fury in there in MTK. So all these guys, I mean, it's Frank Warren's stable basically. So we got a lot of good fighters there, a lot of quality fighters there that should make some pretty good stars with the Top Rank guys. So I mean, kind of expands Top Rank's base. So the Tyson Fury deal was actually really good for Top Rank. Now, whether it's good for Tyson Fury, I guess we're good to be determined. But hey, I mean, if he's happy with it, who are we to say? All right, let's go back to the phones. Maybe not.
He's a fucking mental case is what he is.
Oh, Robert, stop it.
What's with the early show tonight, guys?
What's this?
Where are you guys going early today? What happened?
We're going early. We told you last night we couldn't go
Hello?
late. Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
I was saying, Eric, whenever Beeb is fucking trying to make a point and you start fucking with this bullshit that, we don't know that for a fact, but when you start fucking making these things up about Wilder being offered $100 million and being offered AJ, we don't know that for a fucking fact. You don't bring that shit up and you say it.
Shelly Finkel
no, it's not. It's not a fact. Who said it's a fact?
Shelly Finkel said it was a fact. Stupid. That's who said it was a fact.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yes, he
Coppin
did.
just said he confirmed it in the ballpark. That's what he said. It's not. And he didn't confirm that AJ was confirmed. When did Shelly confirm that?
He confirmed it on
Shelly
Twitter.
Never confirmed that AJ was confirmed.
He confirmed it.
No,
That's
he
all we
didn't.
can say. He confirmed it, stupid.
No, he
Go
didn't,
look.
dude.
I'm not going to do
and
the homework for
Eric,
you.
Also,
I do the homework to be on the
you
show.
didn't let me make this point
okay?
last time. Let me ask this. Hello?
Go ahead and ask.
Hello? What?
Yes.
Shut up, then. Jesus Christ. You never let people talk, dude. You're like ruining the show.
You
never let people talk.
Show,
and when like fucking when like racist scumbags like Montero and King call, you shut the fuck up like right away. That's real cool.
Is that right?
How come you shut up when they call?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Keep
How come
crying,
you shut
son.
up when they call?
Crying,
Yeah.
son.
You love shutting up when they call, huh?
Get to your
Crying,
point
son.
and get the hell
point,
out of
son.
here is what I say.
Get it to point, little boy.
Jesus Christ.
Let's go, little boy. Get to the point, son.
There you go. It's like freaking lame-ass sound bites. Come on.
to the
Jesus
point.
Christ. Robbie, when your dog is barking, don't you think you should mute yourself for the
Don't worry about
show's
it,
sake?
man.
Come on,
Don't worry about it.
Shut up. B, where are you at, man?
I'm right here.
How come you didn't make the fucking point last night when Canelo and GGG fought? Why didn't Canelo fucking send an offer like, hey,
I said it yesterday. I said it yesterday in my video, one of my videos.
Yeah, but you barely made that point, man. How come when Wilder fought Fury, Heyman didn't say, hey, Fury, if you want Wilder, you have to sign with me for 2 fights. You have to come fucking fight Brazil. Then we'll give you AJ. I mean, then we'll give you Wilder. Why the fuck didn't they do that shit? Why shouldn't they? I mean, if they did that, this fucking moron Lord would be crying like a little bitch right now. I'm telling you for
we
sure.
don't even know
You'd be
what the
crying
contract said.
right
The
now.
only thing we know is that
You would be
$100 million
crying right now.
is
If
guaranteed.
Heyman did that, you would be crying, dude. You would be crying if Heyman did that.
Yeah,
So stop acting like a little snowflake now.
I would be really upset.
When others do it, you're cool with it. That's so messed up. When others do it, you're cool with it. Yeah. Even Robbie too. When did
what's the other big fight that Heyman just made? Manny. Oh no, what's the other one? What's the band? The Stevenson versus Glozik. Why didn't Heyman tell Bob Top Rank, Glozik has to come to fucking BBC and fight somebody else, then I'll give him Stevenson? Babe, why didn't he do that, babe?
I couldn't answer that.
You know that shit won't fly, right, babe? You know it won't let fly, right? No one will allow that because Heyman's a fucking black dude. They'll be like, are you fucking out of your mind, you fucking N-word? They'll be like, get the hell out of here, you fucking dumbass. If you tried that, they'd be like, get the hell out of here.
His calls are always awful,
He's
man.
a black guy, so
Eric was trying to defend Oscar like he always defends like Montano and King. Oscar.
See you later, man.
Goodbye, Jason. Jesus Christ.
Shut up, Robbie. Laura, stop that fucking stupid soundbite, dude. You're like wasting my time.
Robbie's hitting the buttons, not me. What am I supposed to do?
No, he's not, dude. Shut up. Robert was saying Oscar doesn't have, or Oscar, like, he's not bad to black fighters. He doesn't even have one black fighter on his roster. I was looking at his website. I don't see one fucking black face on there. Not one.
That must mean
I think the last one they probably had was Luis Ortiz. He's Cuban. Hello?
KKK.
What'd you say, Eric?
So that must mean he's racist. He's probably
Who said that? Who said that? But he has no black fighters. Everybody knows that. And look at PBC. Look at PBC. Look at PBC. Fucking guys like Leo Santa Cruz name their fucking sons after Al Heyman. You think that's a coincidence, dude? You think that's like by accident?
Your son after Al Heyman.
Guy is naming his son after Al Heyman, and people fucking bash him and say he's cancer to boxing. Why would he do that? Because
I don't know.
Oh, this call sucks.
Oh, wait. King Collie in the chat just said, let Jason speak. He's right. Robert, you're being very rude. Stop that soundbite. He's being very rude.
You're such a loser, dude. You're like 60 years old. You're putting these lame-ass soundbites. Come on. You got to need better sound. You're like 60 years old. Grow up. Come on.
I apologize.
You're 60.
Jason.
Grow up. Come on.
I apologize.
You're 60. Come on. Grow up.
King Callie wants to hear you
like
speak.
Double my age, and you're fucking playing soundbites that I should be playing. These are the soundbites I should be playing, and I'm not.
That's right.
Those are my level soundbites, you have. I know. That's what I'm saying, dude. And you should play it once, maybe. Come on, let me finish my call. And now you're making me forget my points, man. I didn't think the production was that bad, but also Brian Custer was taking shots at the box. He said, now people see why Showtime is so good. I'm like, yeah, right. I'm fucking tired of Bernstein and Paulie. They're too negative. I don't like people being negative about our sport and shit.
Do you realize how ironic that statement is coming from you? They're too negative.
I'm a fan, dude. I'm a fan. I'm not on the air. I'm not on the air. I'm a fan in the fucking. I'm calling in.
Why? What did Brian Custer say about Fox?
You know why, Beeb? You know why? Let me explain. Because whenever I watch UFC pay-per-views, they never bash their fighters. They don't even bash the bums. They're like really respectful. They're like the martial artists, and they're really respectful, man. Joe Rogan bows his fucking head to every fighter when he interviews him. That's the kind of respect they show to them. I kind of like that. You should show that's how you grow your sport. That's how you make people believe you have a good product. If you're constantly bashing your fucking product, why would casual tune in? If you're a fucking commentator, Mauro Ronaldo saying, oh, that was a really bad fight. Oh, that guy fucking sucks. This guy's this guy's that. Why would people want to watch that shit? Even I don't want to watch it sometimes because they're bashing it constantly. So I'm thinking, like, what would casuals think, you know? And they're fucking stupid. They bash their product constantly, man. Like Bernstein and Mauro Ronaldo. Every fucking big show, they're bashing fighters on every fucking card. Just listen for it. Little fucking snide comments.
Al Bernstein has changed a lot. He's gotten a little salty in his old age.
He thinks he has to be Lampley because they're gone now. He thinks he has to carry that torch of being a fucking condescending piece of shit.
He's a little salty now for some reason.
Yeah, I sent you those tweets about
No, you did.
I
was shocked.
Yeah. Also, that Spence response to Oscar, there's like 15,000 likes already, like a couple of thousand retweets. So that thing is going viral. Also, Saturday, the number one trending thing on Google was Mikey Garcia with 500,000 searches. So, you know, that fight was trending. They probably did some good numbers. I've never seen a pay-per-view promoted like that. Fucking Gus Johnson, fucking Coward, Skip, they're all like fucking passing around trunks and shit. Did you see that box promotion?
Why am I being asked questions in the chat that I already answered? I said they should put together a deal for Wilder, and if he loses the rematch...
Let me finish my point. That's why I called in.
I said if he loses the rematch, then he should only get $25 million, because he shouldn't get the same as he got when...
That's why I called in. You know people are saying, how is Fox going to...
I don't think Wilder should get $40 million if he loses to AJ. No, I don't. I never said that. I said that.
I don't even think Wilder deserves. Beeb, listen, Beeb. I don't even think Wilder deserves $15 million for his next fight. So let me just blow your mind here, okay? I think he's going to get $5 million on Fox, like he deserves. Let me just finish.
No, he's not.
Because Fox is a prime time, and because people like Lorda for the last 3 years have been complaining Wilder needs to build his profile. Nobody fucking knows him. Nobody knows him. Nobody knows him. Nobody knows him. That's why he's going to fight on Fox. He's going to build his profile, and you're going to fucking shut up about it because that's what you always wanted, right? You wanted him to build his profile. Why are you worried about his money now all of a sudden?
I'm not
Why are all
worried
these
about his money.
Mexican fans in the chat worried about a fucking guy that sucks at boxing? All these Mexican fans hate Wilder. All these Mexican fans hate Wilder. They're pretending to like Wilder not because he fights Canelo fights on the app. If Canelo didn't fight on DAZN, all these Mexicans in the chat won't give two shits about Wilder, and you guys know that shit. All those Emmanuel Moreno and Joe Lopez would not be commenting about Wilder and be like, oh, go to DAZN. All the reason they think that is because Canelo's there.
Why does everything go back to race with you?
Because they're Canelo fanboys. You think all these Mexicans would be caring about Wilder?
But you're now Heyman fanboy, so what does it matter? What's the difference?
Come on.
Every caller here turns racist.
I know, every time you call, it turns racist. I don't understand that.
Didn't Wilder
Guys, one at a time here. One at a time.
Didn't Wilder say that, like...
Okay, good.
Like, he was ranked one of the most popular athletes by some... What was that organization that he was talking about yesterday during the interview?
Sports Illustrated, maybe Sports Illustrated or something. Yeah. They said they showed some stats.
He's in their top list of top athletes. So how could that happen?
Probably top 20. Like it's probably Google searches. It's probably Google searches or something because he had some viral knockdowns. You know, that Severn fight probably made him viral and shit. But let me say this: I don't think he deserves $15 million for his next fight. Even if they're offering him 10, 12, I think he should take 5 and fight on Fox because he's going to do $3 million, $3.5 million. That's great for his fucking brand. And indeed, let's be honest. For us fans, if we're being honest, it's good for him, good for us that he fights on free Fox, right? Not on an app. Not fucking thing that fucking freezes up. We want that fucking shit on live TV, right, B? Right, Robbie? Am I right?
Yeah, we want it on our TV. We don't want it on no app.
On live TV. I want to see AJ on live TV.
If ESPN Plus and DAZN are offering him a tune-up, why I want that shit on TV? I don't want that on
but
app.
He doesn't have the chance to fight AJ if he's not there. That's what we're saying.
Benji just said no one reached.
AJ said he's not even a DAZN.
One at a time.
AJ doesn't have a long-term contract with DAZN. He can come to Fox and fight pay-per-view.
Benji just said nobody even reads Sports Illustrated anymore. Yeah, they have because they have a website too. I mean,
yeah, a lot of people get those digital copies like the Ring magazine.
Eric, look at
one at a time.
Eric, look at the promotion.
People go on the website. People go on the website.
Let me talk to Eric.
Did you see that Ring magazine is digital? What do you want? You sound like some demented kid. Did you hear me talking? Shut up.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I've got the floor now. Thank you, Jason. Ring Magazine has a digital copy now, and I'm sure they had it for quite a while. I just didn't even realize it. I know, like, when you go to the stores and stuff, you see all the magazines. You never see Ring there.
Just because people don't buy magazines, they go to the websites. Like Sports Illustrated is huge. Like what are you're trying to diminish Sports Illustrated now because they put Wilder in one of their lists? You see the ridiculousness of these comments.
I agree. Jason, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Please go on, please.
How do you know subscriptions are down?
I've seen Ring magazine at Barnes and Noble a couple of times, but it's mostly like a mail magazine. It just comes in the mail, probably, right? Most people get it in the mail.
I don't know.
I was gonna say, man. Wilder fucking Brazil fight. I don't know why you wanted on DAZN, Eric. I don't want to fucking give my credit card number to some stupid ass app and shit. I don't trust them people. I mean, my cable number. I trust Dish and shit. I don't trust that Russian app. I mean, if they fucking start raising that price to 20, and I've seen messages on DAZN sucks that fucking it's like a fan made page. Some people said even after I canceled my fucking account, they kept getting charged. That's kind of fucking shady.
And they are talking about raising their price too. So
yeah, well, I still pay $10.
Yeah, they've been sending out surveys to their customers. You know, some people put out that screenshots and shit. $19.99. I'm like, what? $19.99 for a sports app, dude.
Not to mention, I also called DAZN directly, and they said they have no plans on raising their prices. That was their quote to me.
Oh yeah, DAZN is a fucking corporate company, man. They lie every day. So are you really going to take that word for it?
Well, I mean, that's what they tell me. I can only go on what they tell me.
Well, so what if 6 months they raise the price? Are you going to be like, oh, I called you 6 months? Yeah, but if they raise the price in 6 months, are you going to call back and be like, I called you 6 months ago and you said you wouldn't raise it? They'd be like, we don't remember you, sir.
Could DAZN do anything to make you happy? Could DAZN do anything to make you happy?
Not yet. Not even one fight yet.
That going on with this conversation, then, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, there you go.
That's true. That's true. Shut up, man. Don't stop being condescending, you little bitch.
Condescending means to talk down to somebody.
So Jason, let me ask you a question. You're not.
Wait.
Wait. So you're not interested in this Canelo Jacobs fight at all. You're not going to watch it just because it's on the zone.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to stream it though. I'm going to stream it, or I'll probably go out to the bar, Mexican restaurant, or something like that.
Yeah.
You can't watch it at a bar. It's going to be on the zone. A bar is not going to be able to put it on.
I don't know.
Yeah, they are. The bars are getting the fight. Bars are getting it. They announced it. They're getting it.
Okay.
Yeah, Google that. Boxing Scene put out an article. They came out with some kind of plan to give the bars that stream or something. I don't know how that works.
Okay.
So
I stand.
Also, Beeb, listen. 3 days ago, Lance Pugmire tweeted that they've sold 25,000 tickets. I sent it to Eric, and I was like, I guarantee you there will be like 35 to 40,000 at least. He's like, you fucking moron. There's no way there will be 35, 40,000.
I'm pretty sure
people.
I never said
Why
that.
do you keep all this making shit up?
Pretty sure I never said that, son.
Trust me, dude. Trust me. You said that. You're like, there's no way. And dude, and it ended up being 47, and Eric is all like, wow. He never even mentioned that. He didn't even believe that when I sent him 25,000.
Such a liar.
No, dude. But I was surprised, man. 47,000. That's amazing. Like, I'm surprised. I'm impressed, man. That was awesome. It was like a lot. It was like 30,000. It was 30,000 Latinos and probably like 15,000, 16,000 other races, like whites and blacks, I think. Latinos supported heavy, man. They're fucking badass.
All right, Jason, man, we're going to get running.
What do you think? 47,000. Also, hey, last point.
All right.
You guys are saying Manny and Spence shouldn't happen. He flew all the way from Philippines to sit front row for a reason, right? He didn't just come there for fucking fun. He looked like he just woke up.
I agree. I think he came there for a reason, but I think after the fight, he kind of had second thoughts.
Yeah, he's not going to fight. They're not going to fight Spence.
And Beeb, look at Fight Night. Spence mentioned that after the fight, he purposely wanted to box Mikey because it offended him. People were saying he has no boxing ban. He said, I'm going back to bulldozing people next fight. Watch. He said, I'm going back to bulldozing. So that's what he said. He wanted to make a point.
I know that. I already said that.
Thanks, guys. All right. Thanks, guys.
Jason.
Goodbye.
I already said that.
He's like, goodbye. George, you want to call back in?
I can't.
The phones are closed. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Robert.
I can't stand his calls, man. Jesus. Everything has to be race. Everything has to be this. Everything has to be that. For once, can he come in here and talk boxing without mentioning race or any other garbage?
Yeah.
Hey, if you guys have any good comments for Jason, tweet them my way, all right? Because I can get nothing but negative stuff on him.
Everybody says they like his calls, but frankly, I don't understand why.
Robbie, you're in the minority, Robbie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I've always been a minority. I'll live with it.
There it is. There it
Good
is. Look
comeback.
at Robert, man.
Good comeback, Robbie.
The Beeps. All right, guys. I expected the show to be like an hour.
Yeah, this show had a lot of callers, man. A lot of interaction today.
A lot of people, yeah.
We had a great show today. Thank you guys for all your
chat.
all your contribution in the chat, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you guys are here and you like what we're doing, hit the like button. All that other good stuff. Tone in the chat, salute. Reese Max, salute. DJ Georgie Porgy, the People's Champ, salute. King Kali, salute. Jason, salute. Earthquake, salute. Emmanuel Moreno, salute. Smash that like button. All right, guys. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or you can call Ringside Robbie's Corner at
Area code 773-572-7781, and the show will be up since it was early today. It'll be up before regular show time. So there you go.
Look at that, Robert cracking the whip on his people. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1 and find our YouTube channel at RingsideReporterLive.com. On Twitter, I'm at Ringside73, and we will see you next week.
Have a good one.
Thank you for using